If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
If you've ever thought about Botox treatment before, then your dentist might not be the first person that pops into your head. But at Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry, they are dedicated to the treatment of TMJ, and they use Botox for that. Botox can also be used to treat headaches that come from people grinding their teeth or clenching their jaws when they are stressed. So if you have more questions about Botox and you want to see if it's a good option for you, check out Asheville Smiles online at AshevilleSmiles.com. World-class dental care with a hometown feel.
iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the only way to listen to exclusive NBC play-by-play action of Team USA, plus NBC's top Olympic moments, original Summer Games podcasts, and live hourly updates from the games in Paris on the iHeart app and right here on this station. Be sure you have the free iHeart app, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
iHeartRadio.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview,
WMFX Waynesville,
an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Live from the Ingles studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, the Sportsocracy, live for another fun-filled week of summer action here in the sports world. We've got all the things happening. We'll clean up from the U.S. Open.
Oh, you mean like Rory couldn't do?
Well, you know, I mean, sometimes in life, you have it all handed to you on a silver platter.
How you figure that feller feels today? He missed two punts that would have pissed me off.
And Bryson DeChambeau had a major golf tournament just land in his lap.
Good for you, there, swollen muscle hamster.
Pinehurst were a whole lot of fun this weekend. We had a lot of different things going on to keep sports fans interested. Did you have a good Father's Day, Jeremy?
I did nothing. Ladies.
Not a thing?
Just any of you that you have a father to plan for, you know what we want? Nothing. Silence.
You just sit around and play video games all day?
Yeah, feed me and let me fart around. That's what I want. Okay? There's another F in there, but I'm not allowed to say that on the radio. So that's all we want. Don't buy me ties. No. Let me stew in my own devices. Whatever television show it is I want to watch. Let me watch the U.S. Open, and that is exactly what my daughter and HWA did yesterday, and it was phenomenal.
Awesome. So you just vegged around, watched sports all day.
I went through a great cycle of my sciatica was bothering me. I went from it was bothering me to it was better to I laid around for so long that it started bothering me again.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. It was, and you know what? It was all worth it.
Yeah. Been there, done that. So you were watching live as Rory just, pooed the bed.
I'm not going to lie to you. I saw it coming, and I live bet Bryson DeChambeau because I've read this book before. Rory is the definition of that dude we all knew that was like really good looking, but he was really stupid. And so he would go to hit on a woman, and as soon as he opened his mouth, just, "You're pretty. Should you come back to my house, please?" Oh, shoot.
And he ruined it.
You tried so hard there, pretty man, but you dutied it.
Yeah. How many times is Rory McIlroy going to be so close? He had a 2-shot lead with 5 holes to go. I feel like that's hard to do. And at some point, it's got to come down to, it's not just bad luck with this guy. There's got to be something that he gets so close and he gets locked into his head that, yesterday he missed 2 4-foot putts on 16 and 18.
One was 2 feet 6 inches.
Yes, somebody put out a stat on Twitter, and I get you can, trusting Twitter for stats, but I'm guessing it was somebody who knows more than I am, said that he was 496 of 496 on putts that were fewer than 3 feet. And he missed the one that you did, 2.9 feet away. What is it about losing that so many people so many athletes seem to be addicted to?
Well, it gets in your head, and there is the old merit of coffees for closers, and Rory pours his in his lap. I mean, it didn't surprise me in the least. And the closer we got and the more the odds skewed, the more I went, this is so easy. It's so easy because there's nobody else. Even Bryson DeChambeau can't boo-boo kitty this as bad as Rory's about to, and he did.
That he did, and you got to give give Bryson credit for hitting that bunker shot on 18.
The bunker shot was great. Other than that, all you did was get handed a car going 55, and you didn't crash it. That was it.
Yep.
Congratulations. I mean, hey, you get a trophy just the same. But Rory lost that way more than you wanted.
No doubt about it. You had to come up in a clutch situation, but you wouldn't have been there had Rory not done what he did. Had he not imploded once again.
Rob Johnson said he's the Buffalo Bills of golf, and now I will never unsee that.
He is. But can I ask you this? How weak is it that he walked off and didn't say anything? That he didn't go to the press conference afterwards?
It's pretty bad.
I mean,
it's also not even vaguely surprising to me. He's always had I mean, he's not me. He's not 043 Richard Petty, but he's pretty petty.
Mm-hmm. I get having the monumental loss and not wanting to face the music.
He's Kyle Petty.
But this is your job, right? This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to suck it up, Buttercup, and get out there and answer the questions. And I get this is, the seventh time that he's been in this scenario. Well, at least it's the third time he's been in this scenario at a major in like 2 years.
It's the second time he's done it in the U.S. Open in a handful of years.
Right.
I mean, it's who you are. This is what we said about Phil Mickelson forever.
Mm-hmm.
And you are this guy until you're not. Now I would say he's in on the very short list of biggest choke artists in the history of professional sports.
Number 2 is the Buffalo Bills. Or I guess would the Bills be one?
Well, I feel like that's biased. You do realize the Bills weren't actually favored in any of those games, right? I mean, to be a choke artist, you have to be – it couldn't have been an upset if you won it. And, yes, I get that they got there with field goals, but Buffalo's up there. I don't know that I could put them ahead of Rory.
Missing the kick was chief among them. The wide left, Scott Norwood. That puts you right up at the top.
Yeah, but then you got your
brains
beat out by the Cowboys.
And then you take into account that you were there three other times and didn't do it. And I get that they weren't the favorites, and it was a buzzsaw that they ran into with Dallas. I understand that.
Oh, yeah, the AFC was really just, hey, who gets to go get embarrassed by the Cowboys on national television?
Right. But then you look at the latest, right? The latest iteration of Buffalo. Winning the AFC East, getting so close, making the runs in the playoffs, but ultimately falling to Kansas City or whoever, fumbling your way through it, as Josh Allen likes to do. They're up there. Buffalo's definitely up there.
Well, I mean, I feel like the Atlanta Falcons would be up there. Greg Norman is the Cup's named after him. Whatever trophy they take home is named the Greg Norman Cup.
The Falcons as a choker?
28-3, bro.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't even thinking that. I was like, when were they even?
I was about to say, if you're about to defend the Atlanta Falcons, I hate to use the O.J. Simpson rule here, but it only takes one for you to get put on a list.
That's how quickly I forgot that. I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Greatest joke in the history of professional sports.
Yeah.
I mean, your Boston Red Sox are up there pretty high.
We erased a lot of that.
Did you?
Don't you? I mean, I feel like we did. 3 World Series titles since.
Yeah.
That's
you
done.
did,
that's
but it was still
erasing. I mean, 86 is bad, right? 86 was terrible.
86 and the Falcons is undoubtedly the biggest chokes in the history of sports. Then you get into that second tier, which is several Greg Normans. I think there are 3 off the top of my head. Jean Van de Velde, which is still... If anybody knew who that dude was, this would be so much higher on the list.
Who?
Jean Van de Velde.
It doesn't ring a bell.
He was up, I don't even remember how many strokes. It was a lot. With 2 holes to go at the Open Championship. He hit 3 in the water, and then he decided to get cute and try to hit one out of the water, which didn't go so hot. He had a 5-shot lead. He had a 3-shot lead going to the 18th tee. He could have double bogeyed 18 and been fine, and he threw up a 7. Then he went to a playoff, and it didn't go any better. And then no one ever heard from him again.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm pretty sure he's somebody's Allstate insurance broker.
Yeah. Rory McIlroy does it again at the U.S. Open. Bryson DeChambeau wins again, his second U.S. Open championship. He's like the first guy in 30 years or whatever to win a tournament and shoot over par in the final round. Kind of impressive. Shot a 1 over yesterday. Still wins the tournament with Rory's collapse at the U.S. Open.
I don't know that I've ever seen somebody have a resurgence the way that Bryson DeChambeau has. Because, I mean, he was Dr. Douchy for a long time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like somebody got in his ear and went, hey, that shtick is cute when you win. It's not so cute when you don't win. So maybe you should be a little less of a jackal.
You get to mature over time, right? You get to experience things. And remember, Bryson was the first new name star, to me anyway, after they came back in 2020. When golf was the first thing to come back, Bryson kind of took over a lot of the news cycle. He was hitting it like crazy, and he was just this flash in the pan kind of thing. Then he won a major, and it was like, okay, maybe we're serious here. And then something happened, right? As you said, the game doesn't always go your way, right? You can have all the analytics. You can have this cute little, I'm going to hit it 1 billion yards on the tee shot, and then just try to work my way around that. It's only so many times you can make that work. Well, over the last 2 years, he's refined his game. He's learned a lot through the media, right? The media fight with Brooks Koepka. Remember, they were going back and forth at each other, and he ended up being on the villain side of that.
He was the villain. He played really slow. Yeah. He wore that goofy hat. By the way, did you notice he got more likable when he stopped wearing that thing? That's not irony.
Oh, did he stop wearing the hat?
Yeah, now he wears the actual, the hat like the rest of us do. Instead of, I got my grandpa's hat and I wear it forward because that's what it. I always wanted him to wear it backward, just pull a Samuel L. Jackson.
100%. Just wear that Kangol hat backwards.
Yeah, backwards. Just do it backwards one time because that is the worst look in the history of looks. I would rather you show up in plaid suspenders than wearing that hat backwards.
Let's go full 1990s with this thing. Somebody get me a silk shirt and a braided belt.
By the way, there is a picture out there of me with one of those hats on backwards. Mm-hmm. You'll never find a person that has it because I killed them all.
I'm sure it was probably in a yearbook somewhere.
Nope.
Didn't make it
there
in the
were
yearbook.
some actual from the Sevis pictures of that, and I have destroyed them all.
But DeChambeau's got to learn. You know, you pick up a little humility after you keep just kind of getting beat down, right? You're not finishing at the top of tournaments anymore. Oh, that whole, I'm the biggest hitter on the tour thing is not really ringing true if you're not finishing in the top 10, right? If you're not in the hunt.
Well, I mean, and then he had driver issues yesterday as he wins the second major.
Mm-hmm.
That was what almost derailed him because he flattened the head of his driver, which, by the way, I don't know that I've ever heard of somebody doing that. At least not on a driving range as you were getting ready to go play. That's hard to do. And he had to change the driver head right before he went out there. And it was almost like he was scared to hit it at times. Which, hey, there's a merit to that. You remember that thing I said about him of you're never going to be able to beat USGA courses by just saying, well, I hit longer than everybody else. Yeah. Oh, weird. You won when you stopped doing that.
And maybe he's found a rhythm here. He was tied for 6 at the Masters. He was second at the PGA. Now he's won the U.S. Open. Had Scotty Scheffler not, been on the tear he has been on to start this season, winning, 5 out of 8 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Bryson would be in the discussion for Golfer of the Year.
I would say he still is.
I still feel like there's a lot to do. I mean, I know finishing top 6 in 3 majors is a big freaking deal.
Mm-hmm.
But also is, ripping off all those wins. It could just be a hell of a battle to the end of the year.
But I mean, it gives you something to watch because those two are playing better than everybody else. You still got one major left, which is my favorite.
Yeah, that's right. The British is coming up.
It's not the British.
The Open Championship.
The Open Championship, which is
At
my
Royal
favorite of all
Troon.
of them. That's my favorite major we have. I like it better than the Masters.
And that's this week? No, that's July. Sorry.
Yes.
It's July 18th through the 21st.
That's a fun tournament where you just watch a golf course ruin everybody's entire weekend. It makes the best golfers in the world look like me, and I'm a big fan of that.
So once again, Rory McIlroy has let down all of his fans, and that'll be the last time we talk about that for a while.
Until Royal Troon next month.
Yes, until the Open Championship next month. You are in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Join us for a day of fun and the best
Clear.
hard ciders, mead, apple wine, and seltzers at the Carolina Cider Fest, June 22nd on the South Slope. Sample and purchase your favorite cider. Indulge in artisanal bites from local chefs, groove to live music, and more. VIP starts at 11:30 a.m., hosted by South Slope Cheese. And a private cider and cheese pairing course. General admission starts at 12:30 p.m. Grab your tickets now. Benefiting NC Cider Association and brought to you by Shea & Company. To get your tickets, visit CarolinaCiderFest.com.
Season 2 of the hit podcast, The Idaho Massacre, explores the aftermath of violence at the University of Idaho that left 4 families mourning and a 28-year-old doctoral student charged. But did his study of criminology play a part in the crime?
Of course, Brian Kohberger's defense team is going to say he's not guilty. That's the only thing they can say. They can't say anything else, so they have to say this.
Listen to The Idaho Massacre on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search The Idaho Massacre.
CoverGirls don't need a filter. Introducing CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence, the skincare makeup hybrid that delivers a plump, more youthful-looking complexion. Made with a plant-based retinol alternative, it reduces the appearance of wrinkles and increases skin's firmness. Pigmented capsules burst and blend, leaving a sheer, even tint, while hydrating for up to 24 hours. Available in 8 adaptable shades. Radiant skin is only a pump away with CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Essence.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Our iHeartRadio
Where are we
Music
headed?
Festival
Now?
by Capital One.
Coming back to
Do you want to talk about what else happened over the weekend?
streaming live only on
Sure.
Hulu.
Don't miss.
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani.
And then when we come back from the break, we'll get into after outside. We'll do the Trevor overpay.
More.
Get
Bingo.
tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Here's to the helpers. To the ones who grow up knowing that life is about more than finishing first. It's about finishing together. At Ingalls, we know that doing your part doesn't mean doing for yourself. It means doing what you can. Even though you might not seek the spotlight, we see you, and we're grateful. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, God?
And we are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Normally your football home. That's what we mainly focus on. We'll be getting into the Trevor Lawrence overpay coming up here in just a little bit. We're also going to start breaking down, looking at off-season reviews of teams that got a lot to prove this year in the NFL. We're going to do a set of 4 teams each and every day for the foreseeable future here until we hit each and every team, because that's what we do. We are the Sportsocracy, so we don't leave any teams out.
I think next week we actually have a full week, so we should be done with those by the end of next week.
I believe so. We've got another choppy week this week. So Wednesday is Juneteenth, which is federal holiday. Can't be in the building. Just can't make it happen. Plus, there's a Braves game, a day game that knocks us off anyway. And then Friday, another surgery. What is happening here? Is Amy's mouth falling apart?
No,
I'm now concerned.
My lovely wife is she had a serious tooth problem that had to be rectified, and now she needs to get the implant that goes.
Broke that thing plumb in two.
And I felt bad because I was the one that cooked what made it.
Ouch.
She hit a peppercorn that don't, you know what? After seeing this, don't chew on ice. Don't chew popcorn kernels. You know what? Be really careful with nuts. I almost said something really bad right there, and I am so glad I didn't, because I thought about it before I said it.
Good for you.
Got to soften them things up first.
Yes.
But we're almost to the end. And Friday will be the end. She will be
the end.
She will be back and better than ever. We had a little bit of a scare that maybe there was something worse going on. Not more worse, just worse. I audibled. I didn't say more worse. But none of that. So she just has to get this taken care of, and then we're done.
All right. And then hopefully a full week of shows coming up next week.
And we'll start fantasy football next week, because I'm ready to talk about nothing but football. There are 2 names that I'm full on ready to put on conversation probation. One, you will not talk me out of. The other, a case could be made that relevancy is still there.
Okay.
We will talk about Angel Reese right now, and her name will be put on conversation probation until she does something else that's relevant, that's not being the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA. Mm-hmm. And now that you've heard that, you'll never unsee it.
No, that was the goal.
Yeah.
That's been the goal from the start.
Yes.
If there is going to be a white knight in this scenario, we all know it's Caitlin. then I'm going to play the villain. I'm going to play she's the Batman, I'm the Joker. She's Batwoman, I'm Poison Ivy. I don't know. It's the first one that came to my mind.
Well, and here's the thing. And I don't know. I got on a tangent at the Village Porch. 41 North Merriman Avenue, right here in lovely Reynolds Village, which is where I am currently located at Mullet Manor, about how stupid this is and how stupid the coverage of this is. And so I'm going to go on one last rant about this, and then I don't really care what you do. If you do something that is relevant to sports, we'll talk about it. All of this other nonsense, I'm done. Because you get that this is not worth talking about, right? I've seen it on CNN. I've seen it on Fox News. I've seen it on every news outlet over the course of the last couple days. This is not what you want.
It's not?
No.
We need a hero and a villain. We say that all the time about sports.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You need a hero that is built up to the point that people hate the hero. You need half of your populace to really like the hero. You need half of them to hate the hero, and then you build other stars on top of that. And if you don't believe me, hey, who was the villain to Michael Jordan? Oh, there were like 11 of them.
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah, you know why? Because you didn't love Karl Malone. You didn't love Clyde Drexler. You loved Michael or you hated him. Hey, who was the big rival to Tom Brady?
Peyton Manning.
And then?
Yeah, I don't really have one.
Eli Manning.
Oh, yeah, Eli.
And then the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins and all of the other teams that you could have an emotional connection to that got him once because you hated Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to build Magic and Bird, okay? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen again because you had the two best players in the sport. They were on the two best teams in the sport. They were on the two glamour franchises in the sport. Here's the problem, WNBA. You don't have those two last things. You don't have a glamour franchise in this sport. Sorry, that's not the hand that you have dealt yourself. You have one marketable thing. That's it. Everything else can be marketable off of it. But have you noticed that we never talk about her actually playing basketball? You notice that? We never, I could not tell you a stat line that she has put up over the course of the last month. Can you?
Angel Reese?
No. Caitlin Clark.
Oh. Nah, I see it every now and then. It's in the head. It's in every headline.
So, it's not in every headline. It's in the first couple paragraphs.
Yeah.
Because all we want to talk about is the politics of this. I don't know why this is so hard for sport leagues to figure out. We don't care about your damn politics. We don't care. If it's on Fox News, you're doing it wrong. That's not what you're after. Because you're trying to make yourself and really show yourself as a viable sports entity, fact or fiction. That's the only way you'll survive.
Yeah, fact.
Okay. Why do we never talk about the games? Oh, I know why. Because the games aren't actually any better than they were. They're not any better than they were when we didn't talk about them. So you're trying to cover this under 5 pounds of crap that the average sports fan doesn't care about. It won't work. And if you're not careful, you'll burn out the only star you've ever had.
Trying to generate interest.
You're generating interest.
She's not out
there. You're getting
the
interest. For whatever reason, every media entity that covers this is trying to bury you. They think they're trying to help you. They're not. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, this went exactly how I told you it was going to. This will start really hot, and then it will wane.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that we're getting a little tired of it? We're getting a little tired of Angel Reese because they play so often because there's so few teams in this league. I'm tired of this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to play somebody good. I need a shootout, but your team's not any good. So then the playoffs come around, and she's gone. And, hey, what's going to happen? Nobody's going to watch it.
Yeah.
The only thing that's interesting won't be in your playoffs. So what does that mean? Your playoffs aren't interesting.
And then and then she won't be involved in the U.S. team either. So,
which means nobody's going to watch that either, outside of the Olympic diehards, which to me are the craziest people on this planet.
Yeah.
You could tell me you believe the earth is flat or that you take 2 weeks off to watch the Olympics. I will think one of them is crazier than the other, and it ain't the one you think it is.
I mean, I don't know anybody that takes 2 weeks off to watch the Olympics, but.
Oh, I bet you there's somebody out there.
Oh,
there's
sure
somebody. I bet you there's somebody within the sound of my voice going, wait, you're talking about me. I probably was.
No. I just love the fact that it's on all the time.
I don't.
2 weeks, nonstop.
I need great.
Sports.
Look, This is the time of the year where if you give me something great, the U.S. Open just showed it. I watched the U.S. Open. You watched the U.S. Open. Vast majority of people that have messaged me over the course of the last 3 days were watching the U.S. Open. Yes, that's a small sample size, but it's pretty indicative of sports fans on the whole. You know what we're not watching for? To listen to Angel Reese talk about, well, somebody gets a special whistle. Or you threw a lariat like John Bradshaw Layfield, and you should have been ejected. So, yeah, that was a deep pro wrestling reference. That was a deep pro wrestling reference. I started watching Who Killed WCW, and now I'm locked in. You're lucky I didn't curl one piece of my hair and look like Razor Ramon. Ayo.
No,
I've been driving my wife crazy trying to perfect the Scott Hall impression.
I have been telling you this since the beginning of the women's basketball season in college. I wasn't interested in women's basketball before. You didn't get me interested in it through this. And everything that I've seen since then, nothing makes me want to watch it now. The problem is, I'm never going to be your target audience. You have a target audience that they're all engaged in your product. I understand what you're saying, Jeremy. You need to give them product. The problem
You've got one chance to get people to watch your show.
Good enough
to watch your product. You've got one chance. This is the one time that we have ever talked about this in media on the whole. And instead, all you're giving me is really bad basketball, which if you watch any of this, a lot of this has been really bad. Now, you're watching one of the worst teams in the league. I would say the same thing about the NBA. Hell, I'll be honest with you, I'd say the same thing about the NFL. You watch the worst teams in the league, it's not good sport. But you're giving me no reason to watch anything else. You're trying to force feed me a rivalry that I already had. Instead of building up a Kelsey Plum or trying to build up a Sabrina Ionescu, you're just doing this wrong. This is marketing 101, and somehow the powers that be in this can't figure that out, which is why this is going to be a sparkler. It's going to shine really bright, and then it's going to burn out.
But there again, all those players were there before, and nobody cared.
They didn't have anybody, so they didn't have a reason to bring your eyes to the table. You didn't have an emotional investment in Kelsey Plum. You just didn't. That's not an opinion, it's a fact.
Right.
On the whole. And when I say these things, I'm talking about the sports watching landscape on the whole, not random Ron from accounting that is really digging New York Liberty bangers. Okay? That's not the guy I'm talking about. They already have you.
Right.
The committed fan is never who these entities are after. That's the reason the NFL puts games on Nickelodeon. Because they can do it until kingdom come. I'm still going to watch them. You're still going to watch them. The 25 million people a week that watch games anyway are going to watch them. They're trying to get the kid that's not watching. The WNBA seems to be pandering to the 14 people that have been watching their sport over the course of the last 25 years. It's what baseball did. It's what the NBA has done. And it's now what you're doing. And all three of you have a shelf life if you don't figure this out.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. When we come back, we'll get just a bit outside and talk about that crazy contract. Trevor Lawrence got a boatload for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Typical.
This is your Scanner weather forecast on ESPN.
You're clear.
Thank you.
All right, we'll dodge some showers, thunderstorms this afternoon. The real heat is basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, if it rains, it's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening, then overnight mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early, then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
If you're in crisis, call 988 to get immediate assistance.
Recovery is within your reach. You can do it. You just have to do it.
For resources to help you in your recovery, call 211 or go to buncombecounty.org/safer. Hope and healing, closer than you think.
I have done in my career literally thousands of joint replacements.
Meet Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon who now advises patients try all they can do to avoid the knife and consider regenerative medicine.
I myself was able to continue skiing for 10 years after my knees started to be a problem because I accessed regenerative medicine.
Now, after 20 years of study, research, teaching, publications, and clinical experience, Dr. Scheinkup is regarded as one of America's true pioneers.
This is the future of medicine.
Dr. Scheinkup came to QC Kinetics after seeing what they were doing around the country, helping tens of thousands of patients get lasting relief from joint pain with no surgery and no drugs.
QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer live in the Ingalls studio. Jeremy Greene's live at Mullet Manor. And another big thing happened over the weekend. Tom Brady made his debut in the booth for a championship game that I didn't even know was happening.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
That's how much minor league football means to this country. The UFL championship game was this weekend, Jeremy. You didn't know
was
that?
it the San Antonio Brahmas?
Maybe.
Oh, you're telling the story you don't even know who was in it?
I didn't even bother to read it because I don't care who was in it.
It was the San Antonio Brahmas and
the Stallions?
The Stallions, yeah.
The Stallions, yeah, I see the logo right there. Adrian Martinez was the MVP of the UFL championship game, to which the Stallions won 25-0.
Woo!
Awesome.
Three-peat, baby. Yeah. Dynasty. UFL Dynasty.
It was broadcast live on Fox. Tom Brady made his debut in the booth for about 25 seconds with Joel Klatt and Kurt Menefee. And then he was on the field at the end of the game to present the trophy. I'm super excited. I think he's going to be really good. I think Brady's going to be really good at this. Do you agree?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm just going to level you. I don't care. I don't like commentators in large part. I really liked Tony Romo for a period. Mm-hmm. And then it was almost like he was trying to make me not like him. And other than that, I love Gus Johnson. Mm-hmm. I couldn't really tell you another one that I go, yeah, I love listening to him call a game. 9 times out of 10, I don't even hear it. It's just noise in the background.
That's true. I've watched you watch games. Most of the time you're at the bar anyway.
I don't like how that sounded very judgy. I don't like how that was said.
It wasn't judgy. That's
most of the time you're at the bar. You lush. That's how that felt like that was.
Last part. I never said
how that felt like that was said. I mean, but all right. So what is good for Tom Brady? He's as good in year one as Greg Olsen just was.
Yeah, I'd say that's a great start because I think Greg's top notch. I really do.
I do too. I just learned something about him over the weekend that made me like him so much more. He's big into youth baseball. I didn't know that. One of his sons is really good. He's a really good baseball player. Greg Olsen's just a good dude. I won't bore you with the super details of what I'm talking about, but he is such a good dude.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. Does a lot for the community. Does a lot for charity. Obviously, we all remember the story of his son and the battle that he went through, and all the things that the Olsen family does for kids charity, kids medical charities, stuff like that. He's a hell of a broadcaster, though, and I think Tom's going to be great at this. I really do. He's always been that next level talker. You ever see him like break down plays and such? He does the Tony Romo thing. Although he was so much better than Tony Romo, I'm hoping that he can relate that as well as Tony did when he first came into the league.
Okay, so all right, I'm going to ask you a question. Either, neither, both.
Yeah.
Who will be better? Tom Brady as a broadcaster or Bill Belichick as a sugar daddy? Because right now, Bill's up by a lot. I mean, by a mess.
Is that true? Is he dating a 24-year-old cheerleader?
If he's not, he is doing a really good job at making sure nobody can refute it. I mean, look.
So this is spreading around on social media. I've seen. Have you seen like TMZ pictures of them out together?
TMZ is who reported it.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, and I can neither confirm nor deny. I will tell you this, and Tank can verify what I'm saying. I am really good friends with somebody that works at TMZ Sports. I don't know the person that put the story out, but I do know somebody that works with them. And they're convinced that this is true. Mm-hmm. My dad sent me on down the rabbit hole of this because, look, my dad's a Jet fan too, so we have all reasons to hate Bill Belichick. I want this to not be true because I want to not have to look into this camera and just go, fives. But that's what I have to do. This dude is 72 years old.
Clearly, she's a very attractive young woman. But he's 72.
Well, I mean, and she's 24. Old. What the hell do you think they talk about?
This is nothing.
Even
How
better.
Much more money can I have, Daddy Bill?
Even better for Bill. Because if there's
she
one
doesn't
thing
call
I
him Daddy
hate,
Bill, she's doing it wrong.
If there's one thing I hate, it's listening to 24-year-olds talk. My story is about Colorado Buffalo football. Sorry. Usually I can just throw that line out there and not make myself laugh, but this time I did. Apparently, Deion Sanders, as he's done it again. If you told me this story about any other coach in any other sport, I wouldn't believe it. But this is from a slew of sources. I'm reading it from Athlon Sports. Steve Corder said that the final straw for several Colorado Buffaloes who hit the transfer portal in May was that Deion Sanders forced them to attend mandatory attendance to a Lil Wayne concert. Now,
no, thank you.
I would totally go to a Lil Wayne concert. It's the reason that he forced it that I would be out on. And that's because Shador was the opening act. Can I just ask? I'm going to ask a question, and I really mean this. What is Deion going to do when Shador's gone? I feel like practically everything he does is for his 2 kids and Travis Hunter. And everything else is just ancillary. So what do you become when they're gone? All 3 of them are in the NFL. What do you do now?
You become the next head coach of the Florida Gators.
Oh, please, God. I'm
going to keep throwing it out there.
I don't ask for much. I'm a simple man. But if you could give me Deion Sanders coaching the Florida Gators, I would be so happy.
That's the problem I've had with this, of what's next. What happens when Shador's no longer around? What becomes of Deion and that program? I mean, I guess Shiloh, is he going pro too, or is he still going to be
Shiloh
back?
will probably have a career in the NFL. It will not be.
Right, but I mean, is he leaving this year?
I don't know what year he is.
So he may still have Shiloh around for another year?
Maybe. But even with Shiloh, you don't see any of these things that he does.
No, because Shador's the favorite child.
No doubt.
Remember, he said that in the press conference.
Which
after Shiloh got the game-cleansing interception last year, he goes, hey, Shiloh's really climbing up the power rankings of favorite sons here. What the? How? You said the quiet part out loud, Deion.
You said that thing that you're not supposed to say out loud. I mean, look, okay, we know. If you got more than one kid, all right, you know. There's one that gives you way less headaches. I get it. You don't ever say it out loud.
No. That's how he ends up in a meeting with Stephen Baldwin somewhere.
That was Alec Baldwin.
God, what movie was that? No, the brother support group.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the I thought you were talking about the unhinged, drunken voicemail he left his kid. Boy, them Baldwin brothers do it right, don't they?
No, it's one of the the Fred Claus. You remember? I made you watch that movie during
Yes.
Christmas time.
I actually didn't mind that movie.
Showed up with the the brother support group. It was Stephen Baldwin and Roger Clinton and just a bevy of Frank Stallone was in the brother support group.
I don't remember
all the
any
forgotten
of that.
brothers.
And I'm not going to lie to you, Tech. I know that I told this story. First of all, I would not be upset going to a Lil Wayne concert. I see that, some people would. I get it. If I got in free, it being mandatory kind of bothers me. But the fact that your kid was the opener, like, what 17-year-old is looking at this going, yeah, this will be fun? I'm very clearly second to his kid. It's just all of it feels gross to me.
It is gross.
Now, you want a real punishment? Make them sit through a Drake concert. Like when they lose by 40 to some team in the Big 12 next year, they should make them sit through a Drake concert.
Yes.
And when they lose 4 in a row, you have to go to an MGK concert. That's punishment. Negative reinforcement, folks. Negative reinforcement. I'm also stuck on what Ben Whitley said in our YouTube comments. That Bill probably talks to his girlfriend the way he does to the media. And now in my head, I cannot.
He's saying all kinds of things. Don't do that.
We're on to the Cheesecake Factory. Double desserts because it's party time.
I'm going to have to move right along on this one.
Do we though? Or is it way more fun to do this?
I don't know. I don't believe the FCC license is really feeling secure right now with you making Bill Belichick sex jokes to his 24-year-old.
You said it was sexual. I did not.
Of course it is. That's the only reason you have a relationship with a 24-year-old when you're 72. Of course it's a sexual thing. There's nothing in common there. Jeez. He's had dogs older than that. Stop it.
When she was born, he almost qualified for AARP.
Right.
Of which, I mean, as me as a middle-aged man, I just look at him and go, 5s.
I mean, I guess to be fair, I mean, she was born before all of his Super Bowls. Although, again, those still did occur when he was 55 years older. But
I have a weird belief that we're going to have an inflate gate coming up. You can take that to mean whatever you want to.
All right, Jacksonville Jaguars making a big splash on Friday. 5-year contract extension for old Sister Golden Hair Surprise Trevor Lawrence. Now,
that's his new name forever, Sister Golden Hair Surprise. Somebody write that down because I will forget it.
5-year deal, $275 million. That gives him $55 million a year, tying him with Joe Burrow for the number 1 in average yearly money. How hard did you laugh when you saw the headline, Flostradamus?
Laugh? I
Yes.
didn't laugh.
Really?
No. I did, because I hear these contracts and I go, all right, I want to see how it triggers. I want to see how it escalates. I want to see all of those things. I'm stuck on the way they built this deal. How far away do you think Jacksonville is right now?
From Asheville?
Super Bowl legit
Geographically
contention.
speaking, it's like 7 hours away.
I hate you and I hate the things you say and how you say them and when you say them.
We are much
jackal.
closer geographically to them than they are ever to getting to a Super Bowl.
Okay. So now that I've seen there's a void year, there's 2 void years on the back. It's actually not a bad deal for the next 5 years. So Jacksonville's in a window where, in terms of cap number, it's not that bad. The problem that I have is that I don't see in these first 2 years where it doesn't escalate at all. He's at $15 million, $17 million next 2 years. I don't see a chance that you're the best team in your own division. I'm not sure I wouldn't have front-loaded this. And I know that sounds crazy, but this team is young. And this team is pretty cheap right now. And you can get out a lot of these deals as you go along. I'm not sure I wouldn't have front-loaded this. And I know there was nothing you could do in 24. I get that. You got a $78.5 million cap charge in 29. I know what you're doing. Accelerate. The cap's going to accelerate. That won't be that bad. We can re-sign him after that, reallocate the money. I get all of that. I guess what I'm looking at is Kansas City is going to atrophy every single year. Andy Reid's in his mid-60s. Pat Mahomes' deal escalates as time goes on. I'm looking at this going, I'm not really a Super Bowl contender. Could I have a run? Sure. Am I going to consistently beat them? No, probably not. And then I build the team around him to be the team that replaces Kansas City and can contend with Houston. I just don't really like the way the deal's structured. I know it's what you do, but it comes to a bigger question for me. And I ask this every single time one of these guys signs. Is Trevor Lawrence the best quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Then why the hell is he paid like it?
Exactly.
Because here would be my question. What's he going to do? All right, you got this deal done basically a year early because he's in the last year of the rookie deal. Then you get the option year.
Mm-hmm.
What was he going to do? If you push this down the road, do you think he was sitting out? No. Then why are you in such a rush?
You're trying to lock in the price. That's the only. I'm
Okay,
trying to
you're
lock in
the
that
price.
$55 million a year average value or whatever.
Okay, that sounds real. That sounds really good in premise.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next? Who's the next quarterback to get a deal?
Dak.
I don't care what Dak Prescott does. Because if you think Dak Prescott's getting $60 million, I think you're smoking crack. You told me that over the phone earlier today, and I'm telling you right now, I think you are smoking crimes.
You don't think so? Now that Trevor Lawrence is getting $55 million, you don't think Dak is going to angle for close to that, if not more?
I don't care what he angles for. Unless he's a Bill Belichick level closer, he ain't getting it. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, Dallas will tell him to pound sand at $60 million. But what I'm saying is, who's the next young quarterback to get paid?
Tua.
I don't think he's going to touch this. I don't think he'll even be in the ballpark of this. If he is, I'll tell you right now, it won't be with the Miami Dolphins. But okay, Tua, who's next? Who are you? All right, I phrased this poorly. Who's the young quarterback you're scared is going to reset the market in some astronomical level that was higher than $55 million?
You don't have one right now.
Exactly. It's C.J. Stroud.
Yep.
Who's 2 years away from being able to talk about this. I don't understand what the hurry was. It seems like every time a quarterback gets a deal, that becomes the new worst deal in the sport.
Yes.
Because we thought it was asinine that Justin Herbert got as much as he did. I mean, I know you had to do it. You were stuck. It doesn't mean it's going to age well. Oh, the salary cap escalates. Hey, does Pat Mahomes' deal change? Then none of this really matters. In terms of quarterback payments, do we ever get to a point where Pat Mahomes is not the greatest value in the NFL?
No.
Then you're behind the 8 ball anyway.
Yeah. But to me, it'll be just like Brady. It'll be the same principle of he'll never really make what he's worth because he's worth way much more than he's making. But he's also not going to gouge you for every. Does that make sense? I'm not necessarily saying Patrick Mahomes is going to go down the I'm taking pay cuts route, but why wouldn't he? To stay on top.
Well, here would be my problem. Okay, Pat Mahomes currently is signed through 2031. He has a 3-year period where he makes more than $50 million. He's in the 60s for 25, 26, 27, which, by the way, if you time that out, that's about the time that all the heavy hitters are either going to be retiring or, like Travis, Chris Jones, that's about the time you can get out of that deal. That wasn't an accident, I promise you. Then it dwindles back down to he's in the 30s and in the low 40s for 28, 29, 30, and 31. That's a smart deal. If you're going to do this in perpetuity, sign him for 10 years. Because I guarantee he would have done it. I've never thought Trevor Lawrence was the guy that was going to angle for every absolute cent he could ever get. He wants to win. And if he's willing to commit himself that long, why did you not do it the way Kansas City did? Why did none of these teams do it the way Kansas City did? That makes no sense to me.
Well, I mean, you got to find a player that'll agree to something like that. And would Trevor Lawrence agree to the long-term deal? You say he would? Maybe not.
I think any high-end quarterback. Look, Trevor got what, it was like $174 million up front or something insane like that.
It was 142.
142 up front.
Yep.
I think he's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can contend for Super Bowls, which is what every quarterback, that is the bar they are held up against, I'll be fine. Why has nobody else figured out Kansas City got one over on you? Not only do they have the best quarterback in the league, he has the best deal in the league too. Good luck. You keep signing the Trevor Lawrences for this. That's fine.
And you don't think Patrick will renegotiate for more money?
He's signed through 2031 right now. That's kind of hard to renegotiate. I mean, because what's your angle? You don't have one. That's why he did it. He knew where this was going to go.
Right.
Pat Mahomes is one of the smartest people in the NFL. Not players, people. He knew where this was going to go. He also knew that deal guarantees I'm a Super Bowl contender until I retire. Nobody else has been forward thinking enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. That's exactly what Tom Brady did too.
Indeed. You're in the Sportsocracy. Way over. We'll be right back. Top of the hour. Next.
And this week's marketers.
I wouldn't even look at the clock.
Chief Marketing Officer.
I was, and then we got to a point where I went, hey, well, we're here.
For an auto brand, a lot of people scratch their heads and say, why would you...
We got a super chat coming back, by the way.
It doesn't show the sheet metal, but there's a lot we can talk about these vehicles that gets people excited about the car. And it's more than just the sheet metal. It really is about lifestyle in a lot of ways. For us, it's about storytelling. That's driving a lot of brand awareness, but we can also drive a lot of intent. And that's because we can talk a lot about the features. I think we're learning that we can get a lot more from audio.
As the #1 audio.
All right, back at 3.
Marketers, access to all, from national to local. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need.
Say that one more time.
Not just a media company.
Back at 03.
Access company. If
10-4.
Go to
I tried to kill myself with a monster.
That's iHeartResults.com.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell, and this is my Ingalls story. Here at Darnell Farms, we think our fruits and vegetables are some of the best you're going to find. We've been working with Ingalls for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is outstanding. Right here in the Great Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot do better than Ingalls.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, we'll dodge some showers, thunderstorms this afternoon. The real heat is basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, if it rains, it's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening. Then overnight, mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early. Then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist, Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hurry in now to Appletree Acura for deals on the full lineup of 2024 Acuras, including the RDX, MDX, and Integra. Appletree Acura is committed to offering you professional service and a great experience. Shop online at AppletreeSuperstore.com and in person, I-26 at Airport Road, Asheville.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat each and every day. Get your thoughts in on the topics of the day. Throw out your own topic ideas as well. Who knows when you'll say something in the chat that just causes us to go off on a 30-minute tangent. That's how it goes sometimes here in the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer, live in the Ingalls studio. Jeremy is live joining us once again from Mullet Manor. Your little staycation is running a little long here, bro. You coming back to the studio anytime soon?
I am coming back. It's the off season. We got stuff happening. We're lining up to live in the dream tour. It works all better this way for now, but I will be back screaming and spitting with spittle in your face in no time.
Yeah, well, in that case, why don't you just stay your ass at the house?
See, that's Sports Freak Brian Hall asked me, "Hey, you ever coming back?" Oh, of course I'm coming back. It's the off season. This is the point where we make wings take dream.
Mm-hmm. We welcome everybody into the program here. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend. Hope you got to spend some time with your father over the weekend. It was cool, being able to hang out yesterday with the boys and hanging out with Peepaw up at the pool, having a lot of fun. Hope everybody got that chance to just enjoy their families yesterday and enjoy all of the things that have been happening across the sports world this weekend. We opened up the show talking about Rory McIlroy screwing the pooch once again at a major, losing at Pinehurst #2 over the weekend in the U.S. Open to Bryson DeChambeau. I did a lot of baseball watching this weekend. I know, Jeremy, you don't get down with the baseball, but the College World Series was fantastic. We had 3 walk-off games in the first round of the College World Series. Tar Heels and your Florida State Seminoles will be facing off tomorrow in an elimination game. Loser goes home. Today at 2, you got NC State. They'll be in an elimination game against the Florida Gators in the other bracket in the College World Series. You had the Yankees and the Red Sox over the weekend as well. It was a great weekend. Lots of cool things happening.
Woo.
It's like, woo.
Woo.
You'd rather talk about Angel Reese.
Well, here, sadly enough, I would.
That's ridiculous.
But we do have a super chat about something that's going on that I'm not sure we've even mentioned.
No, we really haven't, but we'll give you the yeah. Curtis Davis says, Jeremy, where do you rank this eventual Jaylen Brown MVP on the pantheon of he's not the main guy, but he is in this series? It's going to be the NBA Finals MVP. And, along the lines of Andre Iguodala or Kawhi.
The Iguodala one, I think, is the perfect reference. Not because Iguodala and he are equivalent players, because they're not, but because of what he's done in this series. Now, look, I have to point this out. If you don't understand why the Celtics just got beat by 40 in Game 4 in Dallas, I have a bridge to sell you. I could tell it before the game tipped off. Watching them in pregame warmups going, these fellers don't care, not nary a little bit. They want to get back home to Boston, and they want to raise that trophy in Boston. They came out flat. They came out disinterested. And if you want what is quite possibly the easiest bet I've ever seen, take Boston tonight. Because this is not going to go well for Dallas.
Boston minus the 6.5 tonight at home.
One of the easiest bets I've ever seen because Vegas overreacted. We call it a gentleman's sweep for a reason. You get one last win on your home court. We don't have to go all out. We play some extra minutes for some bench guys because the game was over really early, and then we're real ready to bash your skull in Boston, which is exactly what you're going to get tonight.
Maybe getting a little extra time for recovery for Kristaps Porzingis. Make sure he's back.
I'm going to say he's probably
for
not.
Game 5.
He is probable?
No, you're doing everything possible to get him back.
I was about to say, I don't
5.
think he's going to play no matter how long you.
Well, I mean, he's up in the air, and they're still leaving it open.
Of course
at this
they
point.
There's no incentive for me to say anything until I have to.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, I mean, look, Jaylen Brown's been spectacular. I don't know that it's going to resonate for a great long time. That's why I would compare it to Iguodala. He also said Kawhi Leonard.
What do you mean resonate for a long time? That he's the best player on that team? I
feel like the NBA now has become, I always called this highlight television. You're not watching 48 minutes of NBA basketball, in large part. And if you look at the television numbers, it really speaks to that. So you may not necessarily remember that he was the best player in this series, and it was not really all that close. So I just don't know that it's going to give him the boost that you usually get for being a Finals MVP. Yeah.
See,
I think he's still going to be legit looked at as the 2 in Boston. In spite of this.
Of course he will be. Of course he will. See, I equate this not to Iguodala. I equate this to, I mean, and I don't think he won the MVP that year, but Kyrie, when he won it with LeBron, he was the best player in that series. He was the one that had the 40 burger down the stretch to clinch that series. And to me, that's more equatable because Jaylen Brown's still a star in this league. Iguodala never really was. I mean,
Iguodala was a star. He just had a second act. He was a star in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I felt like he was more of just the highlight player, like specialty play, like a dunker. You know, he was the hype guy.
Yeah, he was way better than that. But he was in Philadelphia, and they were terrible. So Iguodala is one of those guys that I look back on and go, man, you'll never be respected for what you actually were. Iguodala was a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Then he became like a wing D guy, which is crazy.
And then he had that great series and won MVP with the Golden State Warriors.
Gambit fan wants me to stop ruining his hope that Boston will be the first team to blow a 3-0 series lead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What is more likely than that? It is more likely that I will take a job doing play-by-play for the Philadelphia Phillies. It is more likely that I will cut my beard into a handlebar mustache and start my new career named Mike Honcho. It is a better chance that I will vote for Joe Biden. I could keep doing this.
That was the one.
That was the one?
That was the backbreaker right there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's a better chance that I will start an aviary. There's a better chance that I will take a job working for the government who I trust so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, we got it. We get the idea. No chance of history being made in the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics, it's 6-17 today. I just saw that on Twitter while I was walking around the hallway. They've got 6-17 like shirts all laid out on the seats and says 6-17 in the Boston Garden for tonight's game. Apparently that is the day that they last won a championship back in 2008.
And trust me, that was lost on nobody in Boston.
And today is 6-17.
Kelvin Joyner,
6-17 day.
Kelvin Joyner asked if a second championship changes how we view Jrue Holiday.
No, I don't really. I mean, I guess kind of. He's really good. Does this?
I'm afraid Jrue will always go down as like he didn't work as the 1. He was fine as a 2. He was a dog as a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how we'll remember him.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because he's better than that. The problem with the NBA now is that you watch so little of it that if you're not a highlight player, the masses don't. They may know who you are, but they're not going to talk about your contributions.
Right.
But I always said this was what happened to guys like Ichiro in baseball. I don't really talk about that well-timed squeeze play or that well-timed single down the line. No, I talk about home runs.
Right. You talk about the highlight plays.
Yes.
Jrue has a lot of those, but many of his highlight plays are also like, 3-and-D plays.
Yeah, they're defensive.
Right. He forces the turnover that turns into the fast break or it turns into the dunk for Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or somebody else, Giannis or whoever he's been teamed up with. I'm just trying to think of like what reference. Where should Drew Holiday be mentioned in the grand scheme of things? Should we be talking him on? We should be talking about Drew Holiday on the same level of blank. You give me that name, and then I'll tell you whether or not we're going overboard. I'll be honest with you, I've never even really thought about Drew Holiday's legacy as a player.
Oh, that's a good one. We didn't plan that one. Let's see. Where would I put him in terms of all time? God, you're not going to like this reference, but it's the only one I got. Mm-hmm. Chauncey Billups.
Okay.
I think he and Chauncey Billups are on par with each other.
And
for me, that's a great compliment, by the way.
And to me, that's a really good player, really great player. But that's not a Mount Rushmore player to me. That's not.
No, but I don't think anybody's asking that.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is like that. Was that the tone of the question?
No.
Drew needs to be one of these guys who's seen as one of the greatest of all time at his position, and I don't think I can get there.
I mean, look, at the basis of me, I was a basketball guy before I was anything. So that's why I rail on the NBA so much, because you have killed a product that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Chauncey Billups is about as good of a compliment for a non-star as I can give you, because I think he might be the smartest individual I've ever heard talk about the NBA. The way you talk about how I see football, that's how I view Chauncey Billups when he takes in basketball. And he talks about things like that. When I hear him talk about coaching his team, I always knew he would be a good coach. Now he's been put in a god-awful situation. But for me, that's about as big a compliment as you can get. And I think it's spot on for Drew the more I'm thinking about it.
Okay. I was trying to do that fun thing that you like to do of looking up the player comps, but I don't really see a great breakdown of that.
Well, the NBA, you have to be careful because it'll be
Pee Wee McGillicuddy, who played for the Minneapolis Timber Rattlers in 1917.
Well, here's one like Joe Dumars.
Joe D's not a bad one. I don't like it as much as Chauncey Billups.
Okay. All right.
Kelvin Jordan said Mount Rushmore of role players. I would have him ahead of Jamal Crawford, who is like I think he's won Sixth Man of the Year like 43 times. So, and now apparently he's replacing Charles Barkley.
Is he?
The three names he said were Jamal Crawford, Steve Smith, and Vince Carter. Yeah. That doesn't have the same cachet as Charles Barkley.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like TNT went, wait, we don't get to keep Chuck through this? Can we rescind our offer? Can we just not do this?
Oh.
Inside the NBA with Jamal Crawford. Sorry.
Do we have one more episode of that? Is this the last one? Are they doing one before tonight's game and then done?
Well,
they
have it next year
too.
TNT
Show.
They have next year too.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
okay.
They'll have a swan song year. Which will be awesome because you'll get unfiltered. What are you going to do? Fire me, Charles Barkley? Which that might be the most interesting thing in the NBA for the next 12 months.
Very well could be.
He will say things that you will look at your television and just go, come again for Judge Fudge? What did you just say?
The NBA Finals should be over tonight. Game 5 in Boston. Celtics lead the series 3-1. Yes, they did just get beat by 40 points the other night, but that was also a game that they didn't even kind of care. Things got off to a rocky start, and they went, you know what? We'll just go home. We'll just let them have this one. Gentlemen sweep back in Boston on 6-17. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits.
Clear.
Because nobody likes having to choose. It's
Thank
like getting
you.
romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Season 2 of the hit podcast, The Idaho Massacre, explores the aftermath of violence at the University of Idaho that left 4 families mourning and a 28-year-old doctoral student charged. But did his study of criminology play a part in the crime?
Of course, Brian Kohberger's defense team is going to say he's not guilty. That's the only thing they can say. They can't say anything else, so they have to say this.
Listen to The Idaho Massacre on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search The Idaho Massacre.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell, and this is my Ingle story. Here at Darnell Farms, we think our fruits and vegetables are some of the best you're going to find. We've been working with Ingles for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is out.
All right, Cowboys.
Right here in the Great
Stanford.
Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot do better than Ingles.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It's time to talk some football, Jeremy. The Dallas Cowboys are a team that have, well, they got a lot to prove each and every year. As we keep saying, well, their fans keep saying, it's our year.
And you're not hearing that a lot right now.
No. This is really relatively quiet on the Cowboy front because, well, you haven't done much to make us believe that you're going to be taking any steps forward.
But, man, you lost a lot. Yeah, good Lord have mercy, you lost a lot.
The offseason hadn't been kind.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
What is the strength of the Dallas Cowboys right now?
Strength of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm going to beat you with blank.
CeeDee Lamb.
So the strength of the Dallas Cowboys is I'm going to beat you with the 6th best receiver in the NFL.
Yes.
Hot. That's
and the best
that's not great. So basically, they're an imitation of the Minnesota Vikings. Is that what you're telling me?
Yep.
I
mean, you got a better quarterback. I mean, Dak Prescott
Are
is
you
better
sure?
than anything Minnesota is going to be.
Are
playing this
you
year.
sure? Reports
Yes, I'm
coming out of
sure.
Minnesota.
Stop.
Untapped
Stop
potential.
it.
Sam Darnold clearly number one for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Kevin O'Connell sees it. I see it. No big deal. we see the sport a different way. We know. Ginger Fireman coming at you. Let's go.
Yeah. Now, you've got Dak Prescott. You got CeeDee Lamb. You have Micah Parsons. And beyond that, you've got a whole lot of question marks.
Okay.
It's every other player on this team that you can look at and go, well, you have this guy, like Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, but he's coming off an ACL. Deron Bland. Yeah, well,
The good's good. The bad is,
Precisely.
shoot.
Right.
There he goes.
Do you have anything aside from that? It's rough. You got a couple of good linemen, but you're going to throw some rookies in there to start out this year, so the offensive line you can't hang your hat on that. The running game, you used to say, they're going to be able to run the ball. Well, they didn't have a great success doing that last year. Now Tony Pollard's gone, and you brought Ezekiel Elliott back. Woo!
All right, from 2 down in terms of your weapons, everybody in the league has a 1. Everybody, even the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, their one's George Pickens, which is very different than CeeDee Lamb, but he's still a legit 1 in this league.
Mm-hmm.
From 2 down, can you name me a team in the NFL whose weapons are worse than the Dallas Cowboys? I'll wait.
It's not New England?
From 2 down? So you go Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, Jalen Tolbert.
Yes.
In New England, I go Jalen Polk, Ramondre Stevenson. Okay. New England, if it's – I think those two are reasonably close.
Okay, I would agree.
I think they're reasonably close. Now, I don't have anybody like CeeDee Lamb, but I took that out. I'm talking about the depth of your talent. If CeeDee Lamb got abducted by space aliens tomorrow, fact or fiction, that's the worst offense in the NFL.
Fact.
That's kind of my problem. Is that I look at Dallas just going, oi, I don't like any of this. Then I go to the defense. And the defense can rush the passer. I like Sam Williams, obviously Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. But then I get to the back half and go, okay, this feels like a team that's built for shootouts because that's what both of your corners are. They're opportunistic when you have to throw. I don't think you're equipped to be in shootouts.
Mm-hmm.
I could make the argument they have the worst offensive line in the NFL. I could make that argument. It would not be all that hard.
Okay, outside of the guards, everything else is a question mark.
Well, I think Tyler Smith's going to be the left tackle.
Okay.
Zach Martin will be at guard. And then it gets very Chuma Yadoga, of which, let me go ahead and tell you, if you're counting on him, good luck. Click his picture on PFF, just see which jersey pops up. I've read this book, and it ain't fun.
That's a Jets jersey, by the way.
Brock Hoffman, Terrence Steele, which if I ever decided that I was going to have a life of on OnlyFans, Terrence Steele would be one of the names I would consider.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at this team and go, it's never been worse. In the last 10 years, the roster of the Dallas Cowboys has never been worse. Gambit fan in our YouTube comment said the Panthers. I would take the Panthers 100-1 from 2 down to the Cowboys. Because if you're saying my 2 is Deontay Johnson, okay, I go Adam Thielen, I go Jonathan Mingo, I go Miles Sanders, I go Jonathan Brooks. I'm not sure you have anybody outside of Brandon Cooks that I would take out over anybody I just said. Which means, yes, as long as CeeDee Lamb is on the field and healthy, I'm not going to say you're fine. It's just not going to crater. If something were to happen to him, may God have mercy on your soul because you won't be able to score.
Yeah.
You won't be able to score, and you've got a defense that's predicated on you getting into shootouts. That's a recipe for 5-12. Jess Johnson said Dallas will have to leave in starters to win preseason games. That's really funny, and I've never heard anybody put that way.
That is a very good line.
As somebody that will be in 2 preseason games this year, that's pretty comical.
See, when they get into the preseason games, then Cooper Rush will take over, and it'll be just fine. We'll never skip a beat. Exactly. But Dak Prescott.
I need to learn another Rush song. I can't stand to listen to it for more than 15 seconds. I need you to find me a Rush song that doesn't make me want to slam my head into the wall.
I'm not sure those exist. Not for you, anyway.
Oh, it's because it's awful.
It's not awful.
It's awful. By the way, this is a total aside. I was committed to I was getting this into this show.
Okay.
Did you know the Beach Boys were playing in Asheville last night?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Did you know that their special guest was John Stamos?
Yes, I did.
For why? For why did we do that? Was anybody really clamoring for a reunion of the Beach Boys and Jesse and the Rippers?
Absolutely. That show was sold out. That was a packed house.
I'm not disputing that.
It's a great thing to do for Father's Day. Take your dad down to see the Beach Boys. Look, you never know when the last time it's going to be the last time. Right?
Hey, I mean, take your dad to a concert of guys that retired before you were born. Let's go.
The
Beach Boys are, that's one band.
Is 83 years old.
That's a band that there are a handful of musical acts in my lifetime. Look, I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm just not really sure I understand why you're listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
The Beach Boys are way up there. It's at the beach. I get it. It's beach music.
Right.
Have you ever met a person whose favorite band was the Beach Boys?
I mean, nobody our age, obviously.
Well, I mean, of course.
They didn't put out any. The only thing we know them from is Full House. That's why John Stamos is on tour with them.
I'm convinced that they did that because people our age would go, "Hey, it's Jesse and the Rippers. It's real."
Of course they did. Of course they did.
That's one that
They need somebody to have energy on that stage because they're 80.
Hey, they still that voice still goes high. I heard it.
The voice, yes.
I saw a lot of people that were at that show. Oh yeah, they've definitely got 83-year-old band accompaniment.
That's why. So Mark Starling went to the show and took his.
That is the least surprising thing you've ever told me.
Took his father-in-law. Father-in-law is a big Beach Boys fan. They took him to the show yesterday for Father's Day. He had a grand old time. Saw a video that was hilarious. But he also told me that, I mean, Stamos is up there. He's the cheerleader. He's the young guy in the group, and he's playing the drums, but he's also standing on the drums, and he's like the focal point. He's the show guy.
Stop.
Because you don't have anything else. You got Mike Love up there who's 83, and he can't really move. Yes, he can still sing, but he can't move anymore.
I have a question, and for me, this may be more breaking news than anything because I think this just broke my brain. How old is John Stamos?
He's 61.
He's 60.
Oh, so close.
Uncle Jesse is 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this in the most married to a woman way I possibly can. If I looked like that at 30, I would have been happy. Looking like that at 60 is just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
That
Pretty sure
makes
there's
me
a lot
angry.
of surgeries there.
I'm sure there have, but
yeah.
John Stamos is better looking than me at 60 when I was 12.
It's a lifelong of beauty products that you don't have access to.
Oh, no. And wouldn't want to. Well, that's not true.
Mm-mm.
That's 100% not true. I would trade looking like John Stamos right now, and he's old enough to be my dad.
Yeah.
But then again, I'd wager John Stamos has probably never run to Taco Bell at 1 o'clock in the morning and go, "Just give me what you have." Which I've done in the last 3 days.
No, I'm pretty sure he's done that in brothels.
Actually, you know what? That's how Bill met his girlfriend. John Stamos shot her down. Let's go.
Fair. Anyway, what were we talking about before?
Who knows? I went down a rabbit hole.
The Beach Boys?
We were talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, they suck. Uncle Jesse's still attractive at 60, and I hate him. And the Beach Boys should not still be doing concerts. Just stop it. Let them retire. Just go play canasta and be done with it.
If they're healthy, the Dallas Cowboys will be able to score some points this year. If anything happens, they don't have depth to maintain. And are they the team, Jeremy, who is, in your eyes, least likely to meet their expectations for 2024?
It depends on what your expectation is. I mean, are we going by, Vegas win total? Because I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Atlanta they're hitting that. But that's skewed. I guess my problem with Dallas is that I look at their schedule and go, how many of these teams have legit number one corners? Because it's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And if I can deal with CeeDee Lamb, the rest of your team doesn't scare me in the least. I mean, just look at it. You played Philadelphia twice. You play the Giants twice, who I think have a legit one. You play the Browns, the Saints, the Ravens, the Steelers, the 49ers, the Falcons with A.J. Terrell, the Texans with Derek Stingley Jr. I mean, I count on one hand the number of teams they play that don't have a legit, really good number one corner.
Mm-hmm.
I keep looking at Dallas going, this has the feelings of a 6-11 disaster written all over it.
It's not out of the realm of possibility, which is the very thing that should frighten everyone in Dallas. If you work for the Dallas Cowboys organization, you should be afeared for what's about to happen this season.
You should also be renting, because
owning
your house right now that's a leverage you don't need in Dallas.
Absolutely not, because there's a great possibility that this does not go your way. And there's a great possibility that every damn one of you is going to be out of a job. And then what happens after that? Right?
How far down the rabbit hole can they go without firing Mike McCarthy?
Oh, you mean record-wise?
Yes.
9 wins. If you're anything south of 9 wins, you're out, fired.
I asked that question the wrong way.
Okay.
How bad does this have to start for him to get fired in season? Because I have a definitive answer.
Okay. Give me your definitive answer.
They start at the Browns. I don't see a prayer of you winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
They get 2 at home against the Saints and the Ravens. Let's just say you split that. You beat the Saints, you lose to the Ravens. Go to the Giants and beat them, get housed in Pittsburgh by the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, and then get slaughtered by the Lions going into your bye week, which I fully anticipate happening. You're 3-3 going into the bye. Does Mike McCarthy survive it?
Yes.
I would say no.
3-3.
3-3, and you've been housed 3 times. Maybe been housed 4 times. Because I'm being awful generous that you're going to beat the Saints. It's at home, so I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. You start 2-4 with 4 blowouts. To me, that's much different than having an even record.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at this going, you play the Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
That's not pretty. I mean, I think 2-4 is almost being generous. 3-3 is certainly being generous. But I'm just looking at going, you could have been killed in 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how Jerry's going to go into a date coming back on Sunday Night Football again at the San Francisco 49ers going, yeah, let's do that with Mike McCarthy. That'll be fun. I have a weird feeling Dallas is going to come off the rails.
But his option would be to turn it over to Zimmer? What's the point in that?
It's not Mike McCarthy, and he's a Jerry guy. Mm. I thought that the minute they hired him there's your fall guy. There's your fall guy. When all this goes to pot, there's your Dave Campo. That Jerry turns to because he trusts him.
He's the fallback plan.
Yeah, well, Mike McCarthy was always going to be the fall guy. Sorry, I said that in a confusing way.
Yes.
Yeah, and Brian Schottenheimer runs the offense, and you promote Zimmer because he's got experience running a defense. To me, it just makes all the sense in the world, and I can't really see a path that is not going to go that way because I think they're going to get embarrassed. I don't know how an offense like that. It would be one thing if you didn't start the year with so many elite defenses. I mean, I'm looking at the list of when we did best defenses. Do you realize that the only team that's in the first 6 games that we didn't at least talk about was the Giants?
Yes. That's a tough draw to start out the year.
That's 5 good defenses, 3 elite defenses, and the other 2 have the potential to do that. To me, you got a murderer's row to open the year, and you've just walked yourself into a potential nightmare. Oh, and then you have the whole Dak Prescott thing that we're going to talk about all year long.
Yes.
Because Dak could come out and be Superman. They're 2-4, and Cowboy fans will turn on him.
Mm-hmm.
As well they should. I've seen you do that. I've seen it mean absolutely nothing.
He's done it for quite a while. Hell, the franchise has done it for quite a while. All those good years with Tony Romo. You never got anything out of that.
No.
Right? Tony Romo was top half of the league, top 10 quarterback at times, and you never won anything with him. Couldn't win a playoff game. When will things change for the Dallas Cowboys? Pretty sure I'm willing to bet my house it ain't going to be in 2024, that it all turns around. The drama here is thicker than the expectation, and the expectation's pretty thick. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is CSPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN.
All right, we'll dodge some showers, thunderstorms this Saturday.
And we're clear.
Real heat is
Thank you.
basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, it's rain. It's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening. Then overnight mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early. Then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by the solar experts at Renew Energy Solutions.
Since 2010, Renew Energy Solutions has installed over 5,000 solar energy systems. Pair that with a battery backup and take control of your power today. Call 828-203-2934 or visit renewenergysolutions.com.
Digestive health issues can take over your entire day, leaving those like Taylor, hello, feeling bloated and uncomfortable. Hi, Taylor. I'm Ellen.
How did you get into my bathroom?
Never mind that. You need to try the Squatty Potty. The squatting position is clinically proven to increase emptiness for 85% of individuals.
Much better. You can go now.
Available now at Walmart and Amazon.com.
You can go now.
At Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, our focus is on you. With 18 locations across North Carolina specializing in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care, our team is ready to support your loved one, providing the compassionate care they need for whatever lies ahead. From physical and occupational therapy to individualized long-term support, discover the ways Sandstone provides compassionate care for all at sanstonehealth.com.
This is a weekly test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need
What's your weird story?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need it.
Houthi rebels keep claiming that they sunk the USS Eisenhower.
Visit Indeed.com/credit
All
and
right.
get $75
How long have I got
towards
here?
your first sponsored job.
We got a minute and a half, or no, minute 20.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday
All right,
night rivals, televising college
potty. I'll be
basketball
back.
games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Here's to the helpers.
I'm back.
To the ones who grow up knowing that life is about more than finishing first. It's about finishing together. At Ingalls, we know that doing your part doesn't mean doing for yourself. It means doing what you can. Even though you might not seek the spotlight, we see you, and we're grateful. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville, and pretty weird, Jeremy, that we have our U.S. military out there trying to fight disinformation, misinformation, however you want to put it. We all know that we live in a world of disinformation. Hashtag birds aren't real, right, Jeremy? Had to
Bingo.
lead you down that path. Really? Just waiting for you to chime in there. We've got this little skirmish going on over in the Middle East, and the U.S. has forces over there to make sure things don't get too out of control, I guess. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower is one of our ships that is over there. It's a nuclear battleship that is, again, there to try to keep the peace and be there as a deterrent for things going really off the rails. Now, Houthi rebels in Yemen have now, over the last 3 months apparently, claimed on several occasions that they have sunk the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. So in an effort to fight the disinformation, the U.S. Navy put together a media tour over the weekend. They took some journalists out there, showed them that, no, in fact, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower has not been attacked. It is still standing. It has not been hurt or harmed. In fact, one of the write-ups from one of the press members that was there that said that they went up in helicopters, did the whole tour all around the thing. They walked from stem to stern, starboard to port, and all the places on the ship. And other than a leaking pipe in the dining room, that the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower is intact, and it is serving us well. And the fact that the Eisenhower's leader, Captain Christopher Chowda Hill, is creatively striking back on social media to counter the misinformation and boost the morale of the ship's 5,000 personnel. He says that it's been 2 or 3 times in the past 6 months that we've allegedly been sunk. It's almost comical at this point that they're attempting to maybe inspire themselves through misinformation, but it does not work on us. Chowda Hill has to be the best captain's name I've heard in a long time.
Best one I've ever seen was a cop from, I think it was Florida, and his name was Captain James America. So his name was Captain America.
That is killer. I love that. Anyway, you want to take a guess where Chowda Hill is from?
Mississippi.
Really? Chowda?
Oh, okay. Massachusetts.
Yes, he is from Southie. He is a Boston guy.
So my story is from Mississippi, so I said the first state that popped up on my screen because I wasn't taking the journey with you.
They have a lot of chowder down there in Mississippi. That crawfish chowder.
Don't do that. Okay, just as a feller that sounds like I do, don't do that. My story is about one Ivana Williams. She's 36 years old. She was a Mississippi State trooper. She was fired. For unprofessional conduct and misuse of state property.
Well, you ought not do that.
Do you want to take a stab at what she did?
Oh, there ain't no telling. It's Mississippi. Does it involve a Dollar General?
Maybe. It might involve a Dollar General. This is way more fun for me. Any other guesses?
Did she rob a Hardee's?
No.
Was she caught on her dash cam? Never mind.
She could have been caught on her dash cam, and it could have happened at a Dollar General. She allegedly shared a sex tape that she made with another woman with her coworkers.
Oh, well.
And she did this on state equipment. But now.
State equipment.
Computers and things like that.
Oh, shared it on. Okay. I thought you were saying like she recorded it with her body cam or something. Like that's next level.
That would have been next level. I almost wish that's where this story had gone now, but it's not.
I can't afford a webcam of myself, but I do have a body cam provided by the state.
But she is now trying to find new gainful employment, and she has but one ask. She is ready to do a bikini photo shoot. All she needs, 1 million TikTok followers first. I tell this story to you and I often will break down that fourth wall so that the listeners of this program really understand. Do you know how much TikTok actually pays you?
I don't know.
It's pennies. I mean, it is nothing. Having 1 million TikTok followers and having a pet scorpion are about as important to one another. Because TikTok notoriously tends to be a younger demographic. So you can't really run certain ads. It's really specific about things like that. I don't understand what you're trying to do here. I mean, look, I get a story every day of somebody that's been fired and now they're starting an OnlyFans. There's a girl that's trending on all social medias right now. If you watch a lot of reels, you know what I'm talking about, that she could have a whale of a career ahead of her. This Ivana Williams. I don't think TikTok's your solution there, my friend.
No, it's not happening with that one.
Well, I mean, you do fine. Because guys are weird. Okay? Guys are weird.
Okay, so
I stole my body cam out of the state trooper's office, and now I shoot OnlyFans content. There would be dudes from coast to coast sending her "you up" text messages at 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I was going to say. Translation is dudes be thirsty. There's nothing real surprising about that.
I think Rodney Carrington used to have a stand-up bit about that. It does, doesn't it? What are you drinking?
No doubt, we're disgusting.
We're
a disgusting sect of the human population, and we'll watch anything.
I had a psych professor in college one time say, look to your left, look to your right. If the three of you could read each other's minds, you would run out of this room screaming. And I've never forgotten that. Ever. And so now I just look at everybody and go, you're gross. I just don't know what your gross is.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We will get to more off-season reviews, season previews for teams that got to do something to prove their worth this upcoming season. We'll talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We only got like 3 minutes left in this break, or in this segment. So I don't think it'd be fair to jump into the Jaguars here. We'll do the Jaguars. We also want to talk some Saints and the Jets in the next hour. All sound good? All right.
Hey.
Everybody's on board.
We can talk about the fact that my quarterback's at an ayahuasca retreat instead of at minicamp, and everybody cares. You shouldn't.
Do they? Do they really care?
You shouldn't.
Are people really talking about this again?
Well, I mean, just since we do have a couple minutes here, can I talk directly to the lunatic fan that posts on social media?
Yeah.
Not everything is a conspiracy theory. It's not. Like Hassan Reddick was not traded to the New York Jets to be a plant of the Philadelphia Eagles to make up for the fact that Philadelphia lost to them last year. I've heard that more times than you would think. That's not how this works. I just, I spend my life thinking, what are you, stupid? Way more often than I should. I used to just do it in traffic all the time. Now people just say things to me. And I have an expressive face. And it's hard for me to not have that. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to social media and do it again.
Yep. We got another super chat in the YouTube from Soaring Eagle. He says, you want to know just how hopeless the Dallas Cowboys are? We got somebody watching the Sportsocracy stream in Nakuru, Kenya, before they made it to the NFC Championship in the 2020s. Have fun there.
Okay, there are no less than 4 questions I have there. 1, how do you know that? 2, is it something you could tell me of how I could find that? 3, what up, Nakuru? 4, that's a hell of a point you got there.
Indeed. Did not see that coming. Did not know that we had somebody listening in Kenya, but
we had somebody watch. There is a way for me to see a map of basically the United States and all the territories and all the extended provinces and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Canada, Mexico, all that. I did see that we had somebody watching us at Guantanamo Bay one time. That was, to this day, that's still the... How did we do that? Somebody go on a smoke break, listen to me talking crap about Jordan Love?
No, that was that unusual torture thing. That's going to come up in some Geneva case. I'm getting called in front of a tribunal. I know it.
Oh, Soaring Eagle's listening in Nakuru.
Okay.
Right. That makes I thought he had like our analytics, and I was about to be like, what up, cuz? Any way you can share that with me?
He said, that's me. I'm listening there. Thank you for clearing that up.
I need in the break, I need some explanation there.
Yeah. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is CSPN Asheville.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into
Clear.
Electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select a new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data, all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less
30 after.
Fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
This is the story.
30 after.
Head of maintenance
Back to
at a
my
concert
nuts.
hall. He knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas. September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss.
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
And more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box. If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, we'll dodge some showers, thunderstorms this afternoon. The real heat is basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, if it rains, it's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening. Then overnight, mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early. Then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by the solar experts at Renew Energy Solutions.
Since 2010, Renew Energy Solutions has installed over 5,000 solar energy systems. Pair that with a battery backup and take control of your power today. Call 828-203-2934 or visit renewenergysolutions.com.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448.
Yeah, in about 10 seconds.
10-4. 448-3772.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sportsocracy.
That fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. And that way you could join us in the chat. You can do your super chats, get your comments in on the program, guaranteed. Make a really great one. You don't even have to pay for it. We'll throw it out there on the program. You comment on all the things being discussed. We will continue talking about NFL teams that need to make a statement this year. They've got something to prove this year. The Dallas Cowboys always, as we mentioned in the last hour, got something to prove. This year, it could go pretty poorly for that team after not having a very eventful offseason. Trevor Lawrence just got paid, and that, I think, is going to lead to Dak Prescott getting paid way more than he's worth. But the fact that Jacksonville has now shelled out the money, or at least put it on the books that they're going to shell out the money in, 3 years? When that big money starts, Jeremy?
Yes. He's got 2 more years on the rookie deal. Final year of the deal, the option year, and that starts in year 3.
Yes. So Trevor's sewed up. I guess they don't have to worry about that anymore. But what are they building around him? Are they putting a championship caliber team together? We thought this team was a team that was going to make a corner turn. Last year, right after the playoff win against the Chargers, that was the narrative, right? Trevor's going to take a step now. Well, last year, that step really didn't happen, and that team didn't do a whole lot. The only thing that they did down the stretch of the season was disappoint, because Houston came on, and now they're the favorite in that division. Losing Calvin Ridley in the offseason was the big loss, the big name that they lost.
Well, it certainly didn't help because they replaced him with Gabriel Davis.
Exactly. I don't feel like you've done much to make this team that much better.
You spend a lot of money.
If anything.
You spend a lot of money, you just spend it in places that don't make a ton of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the question that I ask about every single team when we do things like this. What is it that they hang their hat on? Are they a really good running team?
No.
Sometimes, not consistently.
No.
Is Trevor Lawrence just airing it all over the yard? Really good offensive line, really good weapons down the field?
No.
Is the defense really good? Just shut you down on either running it or passing it?
That's going to be a no, too.
I get to that point and go, okay, what division in the NFL do I actually think Jacksonville would win? Because I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think they're going to win theirs because I like Houston better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Houston, to me, pillar to post, is better at every single position than Jacksonville is. The line's close, but I would still take Houston over Jacksonville.
Yes.
I don't really know what it is you're doing because so many of these moves don't make sense to me. The Gabriel Davis thing to me makes absolutely zero sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do that, why'd you not just pay Calvin Ridley, who's without a doubt a better receiver? And instead you let him hop to Tennessee, and now you have to play him twice a year.
Their biggest offseason addition was Eric Armstead,
which I do like that one,
and it will boost the pass rush. Right, that'll give more ability for Josh Allen to get home. Maybe give more ability for you to get more out of Trayvon Walker. But does this make you terrifying?
No.
Does this make you next level defensively? No, because your back half is still real suspect.
If it's healthy, I think they'll be fine. Last year you had an issue with Tyson Campbell. He only played roughly half the year, a little over half the year.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't find his 2022 form. But you add Darnell Savage. You've got Antonio Johnson, who if I live to be 200 years old, I will never understand how he lasted as long in that draft the year before last.
5th round, yeah.
I'll never understand
Crazy.
that. But there's just nothing that scares me. I look at this team, the way it's built, and go, this feels like you're going to do that over the top. We're going to try to get in shootouts, but you don't have a line for that. I could argue both of your tackles are a huge question mark. It's hard to be a dynamic down-the-field attack when your line's not any better than this. And I revert back to Trent Baalke. Look at how many bad decisions he has made over his time with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Trayvon Walker is obviously the one that just jumps out at you because that's as bad as you'll ever see.
Yeah, you wasted a number 1 pick.
Well, because you fell in love with the potential.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was hard not to fall in love with the type of numbers, the type of potential athletically that is in Trayvon. But he just wasn't that. He's not a high-level football player. He's not a high-level IQ guy. And he hasn't really formed into anything.
No. I mean, who was the last real draft hit they had? I mean, they had Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell. That was their first 3 picks in 2021. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Other than that, over the course of, I'll go all the way back to, let's go back to 2017. This is the first 3 guys they picked in the last handful of drafts. Leonard Fournette, Cam Robinson, Dwayne Smoot. 1 bust. 1, who you for some reason gave a franchise deal to. And Dwayne Smoot, who's completely nondescript. Taven Bryan, DJ Chark, Ronnie Harrison. Ronnie Harrison's best tape's been not with you. Josh Allen, Jawan Taylor, Josh Oliver. C.J. Henderson, Calevon Chason, Laviska Shenault. Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Luke Fortner. Anton Harrison, Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby. And then this year you went Brian Thomas, Mason Smith, and Jerry and Jones. You overdrafted 2 of the 3 by a lot. You had every opportunity. All you had to do was consistently hit singles and doubles, and you can't do it. Because Trent Baalke is not very good at this. And now you've got a roster that's got a lot of names, but I can't tell you what it is you're hanging your hat on.
I can't figure out what Doug Peterson is supposed to get out of this squad. Like I'm just trying to think, like, do all of these pieces fit into what he wants to do? I mean, clearly he thinks so. Right now, why else would you bring in these guys? Is Trent Baalke just bringing in his favorite guys and not consulting? Pretty sure Doug would be in on the Gabe Davis pick, right? Or the signing.
Well, the Gabe Davis thing is, to me, just a microcosm of I don't get what it is you're looking at. I mean, Gabe Davis last year had, 5 games where he didn't catch a pass? He's never had 100-yard games in back-to-back weeks. In 4 years, he's never done it once. And you pay legit money to that guy. I don't know what you could possibly be looking at. The tape's not there. And then you mix it with the fact that you took Brian Thomas, who I like, and I think he has a decent upside. The problem is he does the exact same thing that Gabe Davis does. Who is the guy that's going to consistently win running routes? Christian Kirk's best tape is going over the top too. And I think this is a really easy team to game plan against. And that would bother me because you had such an opportunity. You don't see teams often hit a Trevor Lawrence, Etienne, Tyson Campbell to start a draft. And I know Campbell's had injury issues. Etienne's had injury issues, and Trevor hasn't been exactly what you wanted him to be. That was still a solid triple and 2 doubles to start a draft. I could make the argument you haven't hit a double in 7 years other than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you just have a roster that you've wasted away the time where Trevor was cheap, where you could make up the fact that he wasn't the generational talent that you were sold that he was going to be. And now you've paid him. Now this is your last year of him being a real value. And you got C.J. Stroud, who's a better value. You got the Houston Texans, who have a better roster. You got the Tennessee Titans, who have a defense that should be pretty good and have pretty good weapons. Oh, and by the way, they didn't even mention the Indianapolis Colts. You were the easiest team in the NFL to win your division last year. By a mile. And you couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about Jacksonville that I'm supposed to believe in? You know, we think that Doug Peterson's a good coach because he won a Super Bowl. Take the Super Bowl away. What is he?
That's a great question. What is he? if you take away the Super Bowl?
Historically?
Was he 500? Just over?
If you take away the Super Bowl year, he went 13-3. His career record as a coach would be 47-50 with 2 playoff wins. 2 playoff wins, 3 playoff losses. Okay. And 3 years where he didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That is the definition of average. I don't think he is this home run swing head coach. Do you know what the record of Doug Peterson teams have been outside of that 13-3 year?
No.
7-9, 9-7, 9-7, 4-11-1, 9-8, 9-8. If I were a betting man, I'll bet you he goes 9-8 this year too.
More than likely.
Just looking up and down the schedule, I don't see a lot of consecutive wins. You have the Bears and the Patriots, but then you go Packers, Eagles. You get the Vikings, and then you have to go Lions, Texans.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Titans, who are followed by the Jets and the Raiders. Then you get the Titans again and have to go to the Colts to end the year.
Mm-hmm.
That just has clunky up and down 9-8, sneak into the playoffs, or just miss it season written all over it.
If that. That's the problem that I have. That's if that. Because even at their best, I don't know that I can trust Trevor Lawrence to be the guy to get me over the hump in a close defensive battle with the Cleveland Browns. Right? In order for us to be a little bit better than 9-8, we got to start making those plays. We got to have him step up and make the plays late in close games. And hopefully we can even keep it close. Because I don't know that you're even going to be in a game with the Cleveland. That you'll be in the game at the end with the Houston Texans or whoever.
Well, now you're going down a rabbit hole of something I've said about Trevor Lawrence for a long time. He doesn't tend to beat good defenses.
No, he doesn't. And that's exactly where I was going, was I can't trust you to win a close game against a good team. And so, yeah, your best chance to roll off a couple of wins is going to be at the end of the season when you get Tennessee and Indianapolis back to back. And that's not a slight at Indianapolis. Not even a slight at Tennessee. That's just how your schedule shook out. Because you go top of the league, bottom of the league, top of the league, bottom of the league, back and forth from week 4 until week 16.
I mean, I'm just looking through I'm looking through the game logs. To the best of what I can tell, he's only beaten like 4 playoff teams in his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of those that were not overly impressive. I mean, yeah, he had a really good game against Houston where he threw for a ton of yards. There were a bunch of deep balls in that game, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I have very little faith in Jacksonville. And it's more from the top down. I'm looking at the ownership. I'm looking at the GM. I don't know who to trust, and that is always a bad sign. It's a bad sign for another team we're going to talk about that I just so happen to wear a lot of their merchandise.
Mm-hmm. Best case scenario for Jacksonville is that you're going to be able to maybe threaten for a playoff spot.
Armchair in the comments asked, would you go under 10.5 wins for Jacksonville? I don't see a way they get to 11 wins.
Yeah.
I just look at the schedule. I can't physically figure out how you're supposed to get to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Because for you to do that, you're going to have to beat one of the teams I'm getting ready to say. You're going to have to beat Miami in Miami, Buffalo in Buffalo, Cleveland, Philadelphia in Philadelphia, Green Bay, at Detroit, the Jets. I don't know that I see you beating any of those teams. And that's if you don't lose a coin flip game. Those are just the teams that are legit better than you. I don't see a path that I get to 11. I would go under, and I would bet it pretty aggressively, honestly.
Yeah. I don't either. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. You're still hanging your hat on the same major weapons that you tried to lean on last year, except for you lost Calvin Ridley, who was better than the guy you replaced him with. Although Ben Whitley in the YouTube comments did say that losing Ridley was one of the best things for the offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars, that they can now go back to spreading the ball around rather than trying to force it into one guy who is running the wrong route or dropping the ball or running out of bounds.
That very well could be the case, because there were times that it was obvious they were forcing him the ball.
Well, maybe it is better for everybody. I don't like taking a star off of a team and telling me that they just got better while you didn't really replace it with anything that makes me feel comfortable in that. Gabe Davis ain't that guy.
Nope.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When we come back for the break, we'll talk about the New York Football Jets, and are they going to do it to Jeremy again?
Probably.
Coming up next.
In this week's Marketers Report,
Clear.
Local influencers
Thank you.
in uncertain times. From Allison Griffin, head of marketing at State Farm.
The economy is tough for everyone, and taking a step back and understanding the pain that your customers are currently going through because of a tough environment is really important. We have 19,000 agents across the country, and they understand what's going on in those very unique communities. iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, connected, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all, from national to local. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company, iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
CoverGirls don't need a filter. Introducing CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence, the skincare makeup hybrid that delivers a plump, more youthful-looking complexion. Made with a plant-based retinol alternative, it reduces the appearance of wrinkles and increases skin's firmness. Pigmented capsules burst and blend, leaving a sheer, even tint, while hydrating for up to 24 hours. Available in 8 adaptable shades. Radiant skin is only a pump away with CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Essence.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Showtime Sports.
Hey, can you stack me an extra commercial in the next break? I got to run down to the lobby. Our mailman will be here in a minute. I got to sign for something.
Branded items.
Okay.
Sport.
In the 30 break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Back in the Sportsocracy, this is ESPN Asheville. The New York Football Jets in 2024 will give Flostradamus Jeremy Greene over or under 3.5 heart attacks this season.
I'll take the over. Take the over, Bob.
Yeah. Last year, you got a little out of control. You got a little crazy.
That's because you didn't have a quarterback.
You believe in it. Believe in the hype. Getting into it. Obviously, the start of the season went the way that it did. So, to this year, you've added Aaron Rodgers. Congratulations, Super Bowl championship.
Well,
coming your way. How are you squaring this? How are you preparing yourself for what's about to unfold?
I come in the same. It's the same element that I had with the Jacksonville Jaguars of I'm not sure who I'm supposed to trust, with one great big caveat. The answer for the Jets is Joe Douglas. I could make the argument he's the best GM in the NFL. This roster was god awful. Do you remember how bad this was when they fired Adam Gase?
It was pretty bad.
Do you realize how good this roster is now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let me just. I want to get a beat on you here. How many rosters in the NFL do you think are better than what the New York Jets have right now? If everybody's healthy.
No, I don't know. I'd say maybe one or two.
Challenge accepted. Name me who that team is.
Say maybe like Houston's up there, maybe.
Houston doesn't have the line talent on either side.
Okay.
I mean, Houston's up there, don't get me wrong. But the Jets, on paper, have no weakness. The D-line is ridiculous.
That's how I felt about them last year.
No doubt. It's exactly where I'm headed. The only difference this year from last year is that now I look at the offensive line and go, the offensive line is legitimate if it's healthy. You added a couple of weapons in Mike Williams and Malachi Corley. I really believe the running game is going to be outrageously good. Mm-hmm. And now you've got a backup in Tyrod Taylor as opposed to little Smurf boy Zach Wilson.
Yes. All the problems you had were on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done everything within your power, Joe D has, to be able to mitigate that best case scenario. You were never going to be able to build a no doubt, locked in, not worried about it offensive line.
No, you can't build that except through the draft, and you can't do that in 1 year.
Exactly. So he put the best piece, a bunch of Band-Aids he possibly could on there. Like, he went and got the fancy Band-Aids, like the actual Band-Aid brand, flexible fabric, super, waterproof, like the high-dollar ones. And he put those on it. Tyron Smith on the left side, Morgan Moses, drafted Ola Fashanu. And that's where we're at. I guess John Simpson was the other piece that they brought in to fill a hole. You've just added depth here that, okay, if you go through the same thing you went through last year where 14 offensive linemen get hurt, well, yeah, you're going to be screwed again.
Well, the big question mark for me will be Tyron Smith. I'll give you a fun little trivia stat. Seasons that Tyron Smith played more than 4 games, when was the last time he didn't make the Pro Bowl?
Oh, dear. I'll go never.
2012. It was his second year in the league. He started as a right tackle, moved to the left the second year, and he was an alternate, I think, that year. He's been either an AP first-team guy, AP second-team guy, or a Pro Bowler every single year. Been a Pro Bowler every year but last year, and he played 13 games. That's better than anything you had on the outside last year. You have to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. The difference with the Jets, what irks me so much, is listening to, it's especially New York media. with Aaron not being there last week for mandatory OTAs. We all already knew that. Well, he could be on an ayahuasca retreat. I don't care if he's in the woods beating chipmunks in the head with a rock. I don't care where he is. He was here for everything in non-voluntary OTAs. But, man, that gets lost, doesn't it? Man, that gets lost in the story of, well, he wasn't here for the mandatory. Who cares? Who cares? He wasn't throwing in some 7-on-7s.
Yeah.
You threw the word mandatory on it and all of a sudden made it a deal.
I think it was Sauce that I saw the quote from him was, this doesn't matter. The guy was here for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the install. We're good. These are meaningless practices.
In terms of NFL quarterbacks that are not on a rookie deal, you literally could count on one hand the number of guys that you could say that about. They were there for all of the voluntary. Aaron Rodgers is one of them. He's the oldest player in the league.
Yes, he was.
I don't think Aaron has to be what everybody else thinks he does. I look at the Jets and go, you have one of the best defensive lines in the league. You got the best set of linebackers in the league. You got the best secondary in the league. You're going to win with defense and running the football because there's not many running backs I would take over Breece Hall. And frankly, Braylon Allen, I'm not going to say he's better because he's not, but he's in the ballpark. Anytime a guy is the talk of preseason as a running back, that's hard to do. It's not real easy for a running back to show out in camp.
No, it's crazy, but you know what you got. When you see it, you know what you got.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've got somebody running step for step with Breece Hall, who's already one of the best running backs in the NFL, potential and talent-wise, then we know what we have.
The New York Jets missed on the quarterback in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
All right, or in 2020, excuse me. In the Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence drafts, Jacksonville hit on the one that was the safest probably of all time. He hadn't been what you expected him to be, but he's still been pretty good. The Jets missed woefully. If the New York Jets had Trevor Lawrence, fact or fiction, they'd be the favorite in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers historically is a better quarterback.
Of course he is.
All you're worried about is him getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You're not worried about what he's going to put on the field. And look, I get a lot of you don't like him. That's fine. You can't mitigate that he is a legend in this game. And he's going to be light years better than what you had last year. For me, it all falls back to Robert Saleh. I don't know what he is as a head coach. I know he's made chicken salad out of chicken excrement twice and taken teams that really had no reason. I mean, he went 4-13 his first year. Then he's gone 7-10 twice with two teams that didn't really have any excuse being that good, record-wise. So it's possible that he's a good coach. It's also possible that he's a bad coach. Very rarely do I look at a guy 3 years in and go, I don't know what you have here. But there's a lot to like. On paper, there's a lot to like. The negative there is that there was a lot to like last year, too.
Mm-hmm.
I have less question marks this year than I had last year.
As you should. That should have been the number one goal of the offseason for Joe D. How many questions can I put a stop to? How many questions can I mitigate during this offseason? And he filled every slot. Offensive line, I've taken care of it. I've given you a perennial Pro Bowler. Yes, he's at the end of his career, but he's still got juice in those legs. And if he's healthy for 14 games, let's hope it's the right 14 games that he's healthy for. I've got a solid option on the other side of him. I've got a rookie that I can bring in to fill in if there's injury spots or whatever. We can move pieces around on this offensive line to make it work and protect our quarterback, who we have 2 years. Had 3, now it's down to 2. I got 2 years to make this thing work because I got a championship caliber team, talent-wise, on paper. I keep adding players. This is the New York Jets and the Philadelphia Eagles are very similar organizations to me in the fact that they just every year they keep adding another little piece that I go, damn, that's going to be crazy. Adding in Hassan Reddick this year, to me, was an upgrade over Bryce Huff.
It is. You got to get the contract right. And I will tell you, I have this from inside the building, that they're going to get a Band-Aid on that contract.
Mm-hmm.
I will bet you what he wants, according to what I've heard, is the Danielle Hunter deal, 2 years, $49 million that he got from Houston. The more likely is that they guarantee this year, add another year on the backside of it at about 24, and that's where it ends to get him in the building. I don't know that that's the case. I will tell you that they're not super, super pleased that he agreed to come in with the contract as it was when they traded for him. Then he changed his mind when he realized that they didn't draft an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
And opportunistic is not something that works well with Joe Douglas. Opportunistic veterans tend to be unemployed. So
yeah,
they're really committed to him this year. I can't tell you that there will be anything beyond that.
Yeah. If you're sick and tired of hearing about the New York Jets and what they possibly could be, I hate it for you, because this is going to be a real rough season for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to – look, if you're this is just the next team we're talking about. I'm not trying to pick on this team. If you want to be, as a New Orleans Saints fan, talked about at the same level as the New York Jets are, you're going to have to be way more interesting than they are, because they're one of the most popular teams in the league. They're in the biggest media market in the country. So, of course, we as analysts, that's what we're going to glean on to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I so happen to think that New Orleans is pretty interesting for several reasons that I don't know that I've ever heard said. And again, I wasn't trying to pick on New Orleans. They're just the next team we're talking about.
Exactly. We'll talk about New Orleans when we come back from the break. But the New York Jets, look, it's not going to quiet down any time, because they have all of these guys on paper, right? They've got Aaron Rodgers. They've got the big story. They've got a chance to win the division. They've got a chance to make some noise in the playoffs. And the schedule leans out really well for a very hot start. I don't know if, worst case scenario, to start out the season, you're going to be 6-2 at worst.
Oh.
And that's not, I mean, it starts out that way. Of course it's going to get louder in New York. Of course they're going to continue.
Well, I mean, you play 4 of the 8 worst teams in the NFL right in a row.
Precisely. You open with San Francisco, and if you consider that's on the road, okay, we'll give them the loss, just for argument's sake. Tennessee, New England, Denver, Minnesota. You ain't got a chance at losing any of those games.
And 3 of those are at home.
Right. Then you go Buffalo, who's a team that we expect is going to take a step back.
Which is also at home.
At Pittsburgh, tough game. At New England after that.
The Jets don't play a legit road game. They play in Nashville on September 15th. They play Minnesota in London on October 6th. They don't play another legit road game until October 20th. They have one trip to London. Other than that, they're in New Jersey for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those teams are all that tough.
No.
Now, then you have a short turnaround where you get the Texans, and that's ugly. But, I mean, the schedule is incredibly easy until late.
Yes.
Late
Jets are going to be
is
able to,
ugly.
Yeah, late gets ugly. Late's one of those things that if you do have something, God forbid, happen, and late in the season injuries start to crop up, and now you're missing 6 linemen or 6 decent players, then we'll start to talk about, oh, God, this could unravel here. You could be out to a big lead in the division, and then it's gone in a matter of weeks.
But there's also a merit with a team that's pretty young. I mean, you look at that Jets roster, they're insanely young. You start hot and get the momentum. I would much rather start with an easy schedule and end tough than start tough and end easy.
Yes. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the New Orleans Saints, our prognostications for them in the upcoming season. How's it going to go with another year of Dennis Allen at the lead? You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
And you're clear.
All right, I'll be right back.
This afternoon, the real heat is basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, if it rains, it's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening. Then overnight mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early. Then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas.
Summer is here, and Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas is ready to help increase the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Right now, buy one window or door and get 150% off. Act now, as this offer is only available until the end of the month. Go to renewalbyanderson.com. That's renewalbyanderson.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas. September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
and more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
If you snore or you have been diagnosed with sleep apnea, then you're not breathing adequately at night, and we all need a good night's sleep. A custom oral sleep appliance is perfect for people who can't use a CPAP for their obstructive sleep apnea. And if you have that prescription for an oral appliance from your physician, you can take it to Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry, and they will do the rest. If you've not yet been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and maybe you think you have it, then Dr. Merrill is happy to help you out with a free sleep apnea screening. Find out more online at AshevilleSmiles.com. World-class dental care with a hometown feel.
Join the MB Haynes family and enjoy excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and life insurance, 401k, employee stock ownership program, holidays, and paid vacation. MB Haynes has an immediate need for HVAC commercial service techs, plumbing, and electrical technicians. If you're ready to make a career change that positively impacts your workday and your time off, go to mbhaynes.com/careers to view available positions and apply. That's mbhaynes.com/careers. MB Haynes. Quality, commitment, character.
The Sportsocracy.
Why do we care who's on the cover of these games?
I'm a superstitious cat, and I don't want it. When I saw Christian McCaffrey on it, I went, I don't need this juju on me. Go away. Somebody in our chat mentioned Joe Burrow. He's already injury-prone.
Live from the Ingles studio.
Just a little superstitious, that's all.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
All right. Mr. 13's all over his body.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
And thinks the birds are drones watching his every move. This guy has a hard time believing the Madden curse.
On ESPN Asheville.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's hottest summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 15% off your next service. Use promo code Summer Sale when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell.
All right.
Ingles Story. Here at Darnell,
We still got a minute.
our fruits and vegetables are some of the best.
I just sprinted downstairs.
We've been working with Ingles
Whew.
for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is outstanding. Right here in the Great Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot.
All right, Crimes, Saints, done, right?
In real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes.
And let's go to Chicago. They do crimes in Chicago like
a lot
no
of crimes,
other, right? North Chicago, man, he's in trouble because, 33-year-old William Roselle of North Chicago officially charged with a Class 1 felony, a count of aggravated robbery, because, well, he, as criminals do, when they decide they need some money, he's going to hit up a business.
He robbed.
Yeah, he robbed. The business that he robbed was a grocery store there in North Chicago. And when he went into the business, he goes up to the woman at the cash register, hands her a note. The note says, "I have a gun. Give me money." Now, at that point, normally you would think that, she would reach into the cash register, grab out a wad of money, hand it over, right? That we've all seen movies. That's how that's done. Apparently, in this case, the woman thought he meant your money. She reached into her billfold. She pulled out one crisp George Washington, handed him the dollar, to which he looked at it and fled the scene. Now, he got caught.
With $1 US?
Since he's been charged. Yes, he stole $1 US from the clerk at the store. It was her own dollar that she gave him out of her own pocket. Now, would you like to know what crime this guy was on supervised release from federal prison for?
I'm going to say robbery.
Robbery. That's right. He was out on supervised release after he had served time, actually 11 years in federal prison for robbing a Waukegan bank of $87,000. So he gets out after serving 11 years. He gets on the supervised release from federal prison. He left the halfway house 2 days before robbing this grocery store, which they were already on the look for him because he's gone from the program. They were going to send him back to jail, and he just went, you know what? I'm going to give you a better reason. For $1. Oh, stupid criminals.
So he's a bad criminal.
He's terrible at it.
Well,
either that or he just wanted to go back.
It's ironic you say that because my story is actually an update on a previous story. Do you remember the Metro police officer I told you about that got fired because he had done a teaser trailer for an OnlyFans content for a video called Can't Believe He Didn't Arrest Me?
I think I remember that story.
His name was Sean Herman. He worked for the Metro Nashville Police Department. Well, he was fired, but apparently the investigation didn't stop there because Nashville kept investigating him. They have now arrested him on 2 counts of felony official misconduct for his participation, and that is a felony. So if you don't remember this story, there was a teaser trailer for some OnlyFans content where an officer very clearly wearing a Metro Nashville Police Department uniform goes a honka on the lovely lady who was in the video by the name of Jordan. He also very clearly has a tattoo on his forearm that identified him, and you can see his name badge. Do you know what 2 felony counts of official misconduct, do you know what the penalty is for that?
No.
Up to 2 years in jail. So Mr. Herman may end up doing 4 years in federal prison as a disgraced cop for a honka. And my question is, did he get 1 per honka? 1 count per honka? Because that's what it seems to be to me.
That's awful. Don't betray the public trust. I always have a problem when I see stories like that. You're supposed to uphold the law. You're supposed to be the shining example of good. You're not supposed to be sexually assaulting people.
Well, it's not sexual assault if she told you to do it. She's not the complainant here. You get that, right?
Oh, she's not.
No, the city found the video and fired him because he was in his uniform like a moron. She got Jordan.
But then how do you? But then how do you charge him with? Because you said assault, didn't you? Didn't you say he was being charged with assault?
No, not obstruction. Oh, of course, you asked me this after I closed the story.
Oh, shouldn't have done that.
Well, I thought I was done with it. What is the official misconduct?
Misconduct. Okay.
Yeah, he pulled up in his cop car and then did it. Yeah, it wasn't the act.
All right. I thought it was her that was complaining now.
No, she's defending him, saying, you shouldn't have fired him because it was just for a teaser trailer. Now, what difference that makes, I don't know.
It doesn't.
Nashville agrees with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't matter. But
no.
I only did it for a second. I don't care.
5 seconds, 2 squeezes.
Right.
Nope, doesn't matter.
Did you do it?
Did
Then
you
you're
shoot
guilty.
pornography in your police car?
We don't have to argue about this. Yeah.
It's not good.
Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints, maybe one day they'll realize Dennis Allen ain't it. However, this year, that's not that year. They're still sticking with Dennis Allen as the head coach, and last year was a disaster. Will this year be a disaster?
Does it make me an idiot that I don't think so?
It doesn't make you an idiot. It just makes you.
I mean, is this Charlie Brown and Lucy with football? It's
willfully ignorant, I guess. I don't know. What is going to be different this year?
The offense is different.
Okay.
Because you got Clint Kubiak, and I'm not sitting here telling you that that's the end-all, be-all, but it's an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Your schedule starts pretty light. First 4 games are Panthers, Cowboys, Eagles, Falcons. I'm not dead set any of those teams are good. Now, then you get the Chiefs, which that won't be fun. But then you go Bucks, Broncos, Chargers, Panthers, Falcons. That's 9 of your first 10 games are very winnable. I don't believe in Dennis Allen at all.
Those are winnable for a good team.
I think New Orleans is a talented team.
They're a talented team, but are they a good team? You can be a talented team, but are you a good team? Are you a team that can win games?
All right, so I believe there is a chance they could be as good as 8-2. How bad could they be? Because I look at the Cowboys, because if you look at it on the flip side, there's only a couple of these games that I know definitively you're going to be favored in and you should win.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're as bad as you seem to be letting on, then you could be as bad as 2-8.
Yeah. I'd say 3. I'd say probably the worst you could be in that stretch is, 3-6?
I don't
think
see 6
they're
losses
god-awful, but I could easily see you losing to Dallas on the road. I could see you losing to Philly, at Kansas City, Tampa Bay in a close one. Those are always tough. And the Chargers.
Yeah, I struggle to get there. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle of that. I would say it's more likely that you come out of that Carolina game, the second one sitting at 5-5, and then you have an ending schedule that goes Falcons, Browns, Rams, Giants, Commanders, Packers, Raiders, Buccaneers. I added a game there. I think I said Panthers twice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not overly scared by that. I think New Orleans is one of the most likely teams in the NFL to finish 9-8. 8-9, whichever way. You get a coin flip game that goes the right way or the wrong way. And in that division, that's probably good enough to win that division. 9-8 probably wins the NFC South.
Maybe. They'll all be in that area. Somewhere in there. What was it?
Is there a team you think is better than that?
Did 9-8 win it last year?
Yes.
Were we 9-8 or
not? You were tied. You were tied with New Orleans. You're both 9-8.
Okay.
Falcons were 7-10, and Carolina was 2-15.
Yeah.
Carolina's going to win more games this year, which probably means that they're not going to go. What was it? Was it 1-5 in the division?
Yes.
Yeah, they were 1-5 in the division. When we went through the schedule, I had one team 9-8, one 8-9, one 7-10, one 6-11.
10-7's the ceiling for anybody in that division.
I would agree with that. And I think 6-11 is the floor. I don't think any of them are that much better than the rest.
No, and it could be. I think it's going to be Carolina, but I think it could be any of the other 3. Could be Atlanta. Things go well with Kirk Cousins. Could be New Orleans, maybe, but I mean, you're going to have a lot of things change. I mean, the defense is never going to have to let you down, and Derek Carr's got to be able to do something.
Well, you're more negative on New Orleans, and I'm more positive on Carolina than you are. That's my takeaway every time we talked about this division.
But is Carolina even a contender? Is there even a best-case scenario where Carolina wins this division to you?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't really buy into any of these teams. You could tell me practically anything, short of one of these teams really craters out or one of these teams is really good. Like, you get to a 12 on either side of the ledger, and I'm struggling to see it.
Yeah, no.
I just don't see a lot of difference. I see 4 teams that have decently talented rosters. They're really thin, and I don't feel great about any of them at quarterback. It's hard for me to not think that that's how this is going to go.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of coaching, who has the best coach? Or who has the least bad coach?
Might be Carolina.
That's where I was headed. That's the devil I don't know.
Right.
I know the other 3.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris earned a second chance. It doesn't mean that I have to forget about the first one, which was awful.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is both the tightest and least interesting division in the NFL.
See, I think it's the tightest, which makes it not the least interesting by any stretch. I think it's going to be interesting. It's just you're not talking about contenders here. We're not talking
That's
about
why it's not interesting to me.
Right. We're not talking about the Jets and the Dolphins, banging it out. They're going to be, possibly 2 playoff teams at the end of the year that fighting for the NFC East. No, we're talking about who wins this division. It's going to be great for the fans, right? For Bucs fans like myself and Panthers fans, if you're in the chase, and the Saints and the Falcons, I mean, it's going to be hectic down the last few weeks of the season to see who wins this division. It's not going to be nationally appealing, but it will be for the division. I don't think it's the least interesting.
Name me a division that's less interesting.
Do what?
Name me a division that's less interesting than the NFC South.
That's less interesting than the NFC South. The AFC West.
I disagree with you.
It's not close to me.
I know who's going to win it, but there's 2 other teams that could be in the playoffs. And if those teams take a step, they could legit be a headache. I'm not telling you they're Super Bowl contenders because I only think there are about 6 of those total.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Rodgers is talking about how tight the quarterbacks are. I get it. And I'll be honest with you, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback in this division. I'm not sure it's all that close. It does scare me that you felt the need to take a quarterback back behind him. But I guess that's where I'm at, is if I'm the 4 things that to me decide a division. Who got the easiest schedule? Who has the best defense? Who has the best coach? Who has the best quarterback? I could make the argument that all 4 teams in this division got one of those.
Okay. We shall see. New Orleans Saints, though, it's definitely a year to prove yourself. Derek Carr, this is your shot. Dennis Allen, you want to keep a job in this league? This is your shot because you ain't getting another one.
Yeah, Dennis Allen, you should make sure that those Polaroids are in your safe because I don't understand how you're still employed.
Yeah. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We will be back with you tomorrow at noon. Everybody have a great evening. We'll see you then.
Do better, be better every day.
And we're clear.
This is JW.
Yeehaw.
Parks Ford Henderson.
Hang on after the show. I got to ask you something.
The Parks Promise
Grow
program. This year we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core values to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Join us for a day of fun and the best local and regional hard ciders, mead, apple wine, and seltzers at the Carolina Cider Fest, June 22nd on the South Slope. Sample and purchase your favorite cider. Indulge in artisanal bites from local chefs, groove to live music, and more. VIP starts at 11:30 a.m., hosted by South Slope Cheese. and a private cider and cheese pairing course. General admission starts at 12:30 p.m. Grab your tickets now. Benefiting NC Cider Association and brought to you by Shea & Company. To get your tickets, visit CarolinaCiderFest.com.
Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale is going on now. Shop furniture and mattress hot buys now only $7.99. Or shop all new designer deals starting at $10.99.99. And for a limited time, you can get a free adjustable base upgrade with an Align by Ashley Sleep mattress purchase. Plus, get 5 years special financing on select in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. No minimum purchase required. See store for details.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
All right, we'll dodge some showers, thunderstorms this afternoon. The real heat is basically well north of us, like the Ohio Valley north. So it's warm, but manageable. 85. Of course, if it rains, it's not going to be 85. It'll be cooler with showers and thunderstorms likely to be scattered around right through this evening. Then overnight, mid-60s. Tuesday, a little fog early. Then partial sunshine, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny with highs in the low 80s. Could get closer to 90 toward the end of the week. From the Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas.
Summer is here, and Renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas is ready to help increase the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Right now, buy one window or door and get one 50% off. Act now, as this offer is only available until the end of the month. Go to renewalbyanderson.com. That's renewalbyanderson.com.